Hello, everyone, and welcome to a CPL Match of the Week, the last one for the preseason, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be a good time. With me today, it's Neblime, like always. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I'm pretty excited for these games because this is not just any preseason group, right? We're picking and choosing the best ones that haven't been casted yet, right?
Yeah, I went through everything that got cast to try to pick the players that did well in their group, so this should be, the majority of it will be the players that top their groups in the preseason week 2, kind of giving you a little bit of that taste of the players to watch out for regular season week 1. But before we get into that first game, we got a special guest. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, if you don't know me, where did you come from? I'm Strom. I'm one of the one of the staff members in CPL. You might remember me from the team reveal stream. Yeah, I don't know. Saetzero blackmailed me into casting CPL, so I
Pretty
told
sure
him that
everything
I'd
you
do
do
an
for
hour of
CPL.
Zerg.
Literally not blackmail. Literally, she opted into it uncoerced, and I could take. There's screenshots. I could take screenshots of the channel.
He would have stopped bugging me about casting CPL, and I figured that like an hour of match of the week was like the most low commitment cast that I could possibly do. So here we are.
See, this just proves how corrupt CPL that the high up staff members are doing as little as possible, collecting their dues. They do just what they have to get by.
I mean, that's just like the name of the game. I mean, anybody who knows me is like very aware. Like, I think I like literally posted on my server an hour ago that I'm just like, I'm lazy. And I was like advising other people to be more lazy. So this is what you can expect from me.
You know what? It's good enough, I guess. It's still better than Snipe. It's the most I can ask for. But we're going to have a good time with the games.
That's true. I am better than Snipe.
Sure. So we're going to have a good time tonight. We're doing some Tier 2 and Tier 3, the games that didn't get cast, but the players that top their groups. And you even see it on our fancy new overlays for CPL 6. Shout out to Super Saiyan for getting those set up. Which games are going to be cast, so you can root for the players you're looking for. Maybe recognize someone from your teams. But with that, we're going to get into game number 1, since some of us are on a little bit of a time crunch.
Meanwhile, Australia, I'm just like, yep. All morning, I got all day.
Neblime hibernates between CPL seasons.
It's true.
Well.
Alright. Looks like our first map is going to be Eclipse, and we have Hazely Nut, the purple Zerg player. I'm here for the Zergs, guys. And she's in the bottom left-hand corner of Eclipse.
Well, if you're here for the Zergs, I'm here for the Terran. In the top right, in the yellow, it's Cake Sauce. Go Terran, crush those gross Zerg bugs. I reckon Cake Sauce got this.
See, look at that. I didn't even tell them to do that. They were introducing their own race and everything. I did get strong-armed a little bit to throw in some Zerg in early in the mix to appease Stormcrawling. It's the only way to get her to be here.
CPL's corrupt. It's a known fact. It's
Look.
a fact there would be no Zergs in CPL at all if it wasn't for Stormcrawling, because, snipes from Team Drag Discord, they're all subscribed to Sasagi, they would have banned them.
Look, I just say my requirements, and I'm here, so it looks like they were met. You know?
Again, that sounds corrupt as hell, I gotta say.
Well, unlike some of the people, I am here to appease people and have a good time.
You get to a certain point where you just lay down the law, right? You just say what you need, and it just happens because what would happen if you just left?
Great news! People in the chat are saying you're too loud. What a day!
I think that might be me getting fired up a little bit due to some pre-stream complications. So I might be just a little bit loud today, a little angry, a little anxious, but a little excited for some exciting games.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this barracks placement.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
I am
like, definitely is weird.
Maybe what happens is Zerg comes in, they see this deeper, they see no barracks, like, oh my god, it's a proxy. Maybe that's the plan, and you're actually taking gas and going 1-1-1, but second deeper coming up already.
In the chats, cold warp gates.
So,
well, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, looks like we have a 12-hatch opener from our Zerg player Hazelnut. I don't know if you know these players, Neblime or Saetzero, but
I know of Hazely Nut.
Yeah. She actually streams quite a bit. She's been streaming a lot lately. I did notice she had like quite the amount of viewers for that CPL King of the Tiers tournament. So I am like familiar with her games because she I watch her stream on occasion, and like she's really like focusing on learning standard timing, so I'm expecting to see like just like a fairly standard 2-hatch muta from her, and trying to go into probably just like lurker defiler ultra. And I don't know as much about Cake Sauce except that I think he's pretty strong for a tier 2 Terran, and I think Hazley actually is quite strong for a tier 2 Zerg, so I think this should be quite a good game.
Yeah, well, what's interesting about Cake Sauce's opening, by the way, is he went for that second depot before CC, like, blind. He didn't verify whether it's going to be hatch first or not, because what you always want to do as Terran is go 15 CC before the second depot, but you don't know, is it going to be an early pull, so you have to get the depot. But I think he is also trying to stick to a very rigorous build order here, and not trying to, like, burden himself thinking about, like, the scouting and reactions, and I think that's not a bad way to learn, because it doesn't really matter if your build isn't, like, perfect strategy. If you execute it better, you will win. So I think both these players kind of just going for the standard build and not worrying about too much on the way.
Right. What I will say on Zerg's end is that the lair was very late, so I think it was like.
Oh, there's a
three.
There was a third hatchery placed at the 9 o'clock before the lair.
Yeah, but that I think like that shouldn't matter because it was still like a 2-hatch play.
Well, this third hatch is also very early.
Did she get the third hatch? Yeah. Maybe it's like 2.5 hatch, or maybe she actually got the third hatch before the gas. I didn't notice. I don't think so. I think the third hatch.
I don't think
so. There was a gas,
yeah.
but the lair wasn't started yet.
Right. So if in 2.5 or 5 hatch play, I think you're still supposed to get the lair early. This could be a lurker build though. I guess they can't because the lair's done now. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess we'll 3-hatch muta with the third at the third is definitely interesting. I think it's a good choice on Eclipse because like one thing I say about like choosing to do this for ZVT is that the third base that you want to take it should have like 1 ramp and have a relatively small surface area, and you kind of have that on Eclipse, right? So you can actually push the creep and defend the ramp with sunks. Which makes this type of play a lot stronger, in my opinion, because you only have 1 spot to defend, and you can get the creep all the way to the ramp.
I will say though, with this third hatch exposed, and also like the lair being late, a sharp stim timing would be extremely dangerous for this.
Yeah.
The units would not be out in time.
I agree.
Cake Sauce Academy was a little bit late, so I don't think we're going to see any aggression here. And Terran obviously isn't bound to go across the map at that time either. It's just a vulnerability that maybe will come out in later game.
Oh, you were saying Terran SimCity?
About their SimCity, well, I mean, I don't know why the barracks are all the way over there. Other than that, it seems okay. You want the barracks near the ramp because you need turrets to cover the ramp, and so if you can cover the barracks and the ramp in one go, that's what you want to do. Kill 2 birds, kill 2 mutas with 1 turret.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that Hazley's gonna have to sunk against this.
Oh,
well, maybe her mutas will be out.
Well,
I would put down a sunk though.
If like 12 Marines show up and you have 6 mutas, yeah, the mutas can eventually win, but you can run in and kill a lot of drones for that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice job with those circles.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm still a little bit confused about like what the build was exactly. I guess it's 2.5 hatch muta. Which I'm not super familiar with. I am kind of wondering because the second gas was really late and we're only mining it with 2 drones now, if this is like gonna be some kind of crazy Zerg.
Well, air carapace is being researched, so I would have thought it would be 3 base muta all in if you're researching an air upgrade here. But so far the muta marker are really good for Hazley and like really driving these Marines back. 1 muta does fall though.
Yeah, usually when you get mutas this early, you do get a muta upgrade just regardless because you actually have time for it to finish while your mutas are still useful. So definitely not surprised to see that. Sometimes you just get that when you go crazy Zerg anyway, just because you're planning on building a lot of mutas and holding the middle of the map with that.
Right.
But the one thing with that is that like I don't see an evolution chamber yet, so I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe we will.
4 face going up in the top left. At that juicy double gas that Zerg always wants. Meanwhile, Mutamaker are pretty good, actually, whittling down these Marines a lot. Reinforcements arrive. I think Hazing Up might be able to clean this up, though, if she keeps going. And that's a really tenuous position for Terran once your army gets wiped. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, Nita Micro actually quite good. It seemed like she was using patrol on the Marines that were in the middle of the map, which is exactly what you want to be doing, picking them off one at a time. And you can see this group from Cake Sauce is very small on the map. And if
Yeah.
Hazley's able to like get her +1 air carapace to finish on her mutas, it looks like it's about halfway done right now. If you don't let Terran group up a sizable amount of bio before that's finished,
I like
mutas
that
just
army
you can
movement
just
from
A
Cake
move.
Sauce. Sorry to interrupt, did you see
Yeah, that
that?
was
So
nice.
Cake Sauce scanned where the mutas were, moved out of their vision, then doubled back to get the reinforcements. That was actually a really nice little step there.
Yeah, yeah. But if you let that +1 carapace finish for Zerg's air, and Terran doesn't have like a big force built up, you can just A move, and you'll just win the fight. It's kind of crazy actually. You don't even have to micro.
Hazy not saying I don't want to wait, coming in here, getting pretty good value, but taking some damage. Oh wow, really nice hold position there. Getting 2 Marines for 1. Oh, but Meta's starting to fall now. Yeah, Cake Sauce not focus firing here, and in fact I didn't see a stim until now. I think there's enough Mutas
Oh, that was a nice little arc.
But two Marines fell, and like the Muta was already injured, so I'm not really sold on this for Terran. I think this is going pretty well for Hazley Nut, especially with that 4th hatch finish. No drones there yet. But Evo is up now, so it looks like Hazley will be going straight for Ultralisks here. And if you have 5 gases, I mean, you'll just bury Terran in Ultralisks. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And it also like Terran's adding to 5th racks. I don't see like starports and science facilities started yet. I mean, we don't have the hive started quite yet, but like I feel like you need a sizable amount of science vessels to deal with the ultra production. So I gonna go double starport. Okay, we got 1 starport, and how many vessels he's able to pump out with this, because I think that's going to be very important with heavy ultra play.
Yeah,
Looks like he's going to go
about-
2, but I'm not sure.
About Cake Sauce's base, I don't like the barracks in the back, but it is quite neatly laid out. You know, it looks pretty clean. Oh, Muta's still getting more done here. Only 2 Sunkers at the front. I'm surprised about that, because when you're going crazy Zerg, normally you want more than that. If Terran is able to whittle down these Mutas and have like 2 groups, you could just get in there no problem.
Yeah, but look how much gas she has. Like, honestly, she's been able to, like, whittle down this Marine count so much that I feel like it's not... She's almost at the point where, like, if Terran attacks into 2 Sunks, you can almost A-move your mutas. Like, almost.
Well, yeah.
She maybe needs a couple more.
If it's Mutas and Sunks at the same time, but as we can see, the Muta count is getting slowly decreased. I mean, if Terran has some, like, massive engage, like they catch them or something, and there's only a few Mutas left, these Sunkens aren't going to stop the Terran army now. I just feel like it's a bit dangerous to rely just on 2.
Or she's building more. She's building more. I mean, the thing is like, you don't need to kill Terran's army unless they commit, right? So if they commit, you're fighting with Sunkens.
Wow, so much value here. This Muta micro is really good.
Yeah, her Muta micro is excellent. I'm wondering if maybe the 3rd gas was a little bit quick.
Oh wow, diving on this army now. Looks like Hazley Nut's going to clean it up, but the reinforcements are arriving
Just in time, too. Well, I would say just in time for Zerg. It always feels good when you get that, like, first army before Terran has a chance to hook it up with their 2nd army. Because, really, as Zerg, you always would rather be fighting a piece of your opponent's army rather than the full thing, right? So
yeah,
I think that if you
kill...
kill...
which I think is very key here. Like...
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, nice focus fire
there.
But
the bio ball hasn't gotten, like, super out of control. And I mean, really at this point, the Mutalisks are almost... Well, I would say that they're bonuses, except they aren't, because we don't actually see any tech from Hazley Nut yet. We're going to have access to 5 gases, but if we don't have those ultra upgrades done, and a 2nd Evo chamber with melee upgrades on the way, it's very difficult to contest
Kicks us
Terran's
building a
army.
turret here. Oh my god, this is actually kind of amazing. So yeah, I think maybe Hazley not overly focusing on the Muta micro and not macroing properly at home, because like you say, these things are missing. Like ultras without carapace are actually like pretty bad units. They just kind of get gunned down.
Yeah,
by
they're
things
really
pretty fast.
bad.
At the
Yeah,
same time,
and
though,
also
Terran-
melee upgrades too.
Yeah, Terran not really keeping up on his upgrades though. Like doesn't have a 2nd eBay going that I can see, and armor not finished yet. So I mean, it might somewhat even out. Terran's still at +1 already though. But the thing is, with so much gas, I mean, does it even matter if you don't have armor? You're just gonna have so many of them. Cake Sauce, you know, doesn't have a 3rd yet or anything like that. I'm not sure there'll be enough fire here to contest it.
One thing I really like about what he's doing though is like I feel like I see Terran players when they're going SK Terran, like at this point in the game, they're floating like thousands of minerals. But Cake Sauce actually added extra barracks very quickly, and his macro's pretty on point. Like you
He's
can say
trying to
he's
bust
floating
it.
like 700 minerals or whatever, but like, oh
He's
yeah, I guess
attacking
we're
in
gonna
here.
see. We're gonna see
Yeah,
how
I don't know about
dangerous
this.
it is.
There's a lot of Mutalisks here. I mean, he's killing the Sunkens, but at what cost? And he's reinforcing so far away. If he waited for that upper group, it might have been different, but I think that was overly aggressive there.
Yeah, actually, Hazelnut tried to micro the Mutas there, and I don't even think she needed to. I think she just needed to A move, but
Well,
that's
I mean,
okay.
you gotta be
Looks like
careful,
we're gonna
though.
try and attack in again.
If there's enough medics in your A move, sometimes you just get slaughtered. I mean, look at this. The Mutalist out of formation right now. Can't contest
Yeah,
this.
that's true.
And the bio coming in. Okay, finally Hazelnut getting back stacked again, but there's a lot of Marines here, and all Mutalists are a bit injured already. They're just slaughtering these
Alright,
Mutalists
looks
right
like-
now. Oh no. All these
Yeah, it looks like
drones.
Terran was able to kind of exploit Zerg's lack of tech. Like, the
Yeah.
tech was just a little bit slow, and there weren't very many
Yeah.
sunks, and there was a bust timing, and he hit it. And I
Like
think
you
that
said,
that really, like,
solid macro from Terran. Like, just
yeah,
kept on
super
pumping
solid
it.
macro. Yeah, even though he was, like, losing
Oh, they are.
a lot of units
Or
from
the D Matrix.
the mutas, he just like kept up his macro, and he's able to pull it through. Looks like one D Matrix Marine on a ramp. How are you gonna beat that?
Well,
And these
Oracles with no
these
upgrades
are zero
whatsoever.
upgrades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't even have chitinous yet. They're just running around waiting to die. I mean, Adrenalings will do something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. There's just so many Marines. I think this is pretty much over. I mean, Zerg does have these other bases drawing them hide too, but I don't really see that working out. Terran's got so many barracks up, so much potential just to spam that
Yeah.
Marines.
Yeah, and you would need to like rebuild the hive.
GG.
Yeah, GG is called.
It's always my dream in a TVZ if I kill the tech and the hive. It's like, all right, see you in 10 minutes. You can't build anything.
Yeah. Just turtle.
I mean, what else can they do? They can just like spam limited you, so it's pretty much guaranteed win if you manage that.
You guys are having so much fun casting. I couldn't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, go back to
Did you
your
have
box.
did you have words to say?
No, you're like you guys are killing it. I had nothing to say. Just funny. It's like usually when you have extra people on the cast, it's like, oh, people don't know when to talk or anything. But you guys just pow points, pow learning and teaching. I'm like, okay, I got nothing. I'm just gonna observe. We're
Look,
good.
I'm the important person here. Just saying.
Just love the confidence to come on in, steal the show here, and then act like you don't want to be here.
Alright, looks like we have our Zerg player, Diggity, in the top right of Eclipse.
In the bottom left in the blue, it's Tara. That must be an AKA, right? Is
Uh,
that-
I think
T-
it's Taranak.
Yeah, Terran.
I
That's
think
it,
it's
okay.
Taranak. Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, another beautiful Terran to crush the gross Zerg bugs again. They did it last time. You know, it's just like cleaning roaches out of a house. That's basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
So did
You're
you?
not even
Alright.
gonna try and deny it?
No, I'm not gonna deny it. I also wasn't listening to what you said, so
Oh, good.
that
good.
makes
Well,
it difficult.
guys, Stormcon
Yeah.
agreed 100% what I said. You heard her.
Yeah, I mean, someone clip
Yeah.
it. We got evidence.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, alright, so I don't really know either of these players except for Taranak I think he was like on the list of like people we couldn't find for RSL. And when I say we, I mean least, because I don't actually do anything for RSL. because I
You
made
just
the
take the credit.
well, I was given the credit.
There you go.
So, yeah, that's like the extent of my knowledge about Taranak. Diggity is, I think he's like an old school caster, right? I've never actually listened to any of his casts because I started playing in 2019, so I'm seeing old Zerg or old school Zerg and unknown Terran. Looks like his Rax is already in a more Neblime friendly spot though.
I mean, I'm still not completely satisfied. To be honest, but yes, it's better.
Well, you know what? Little steps. Maybe we'll have another
That's right, we'll
GVT
inch
in
our
the
way
Rax
towards
place,
that,
and we'll
right?
just be like, yeah, inch our way towards greatness. That's what CPL's all about, truly.
Oh, I got a hot rhyme for Saetzero to enjoy, because even though he's not talking, he's still
Oh,
here to
God.
listen.
I heard
Rax
about
near
the
the
rhyme
ramp.
thing, and
Racks near the ramp or Mutalisks will camp.
Okay, so
Happen.
so explain that one. Like,
I'm
why?
gonna
Like I
leave.
was saying, you need turrets near the ramp, otherwise Mutalisks will abuse the high ground to kill Marines trying to come back up to defend your base, but you also need to defend your barracks, because obviously Mutalisks will just be over your production using Doom. So you need to put the barracks near the ramp so you can defend both the ramp and the barracks with a small number of turrets. So if you don't have the barracks near the ramp, the Mutalisks will camp one or other of those spots and you'll be sad. Either that or you have to put way too many turrets.
Okay. Hey, that
Alright,
sounds helpful
we have-
and okay. Like, it's acceptable.
Are you saying my other rhymes aren't helpful?
I'm saying they're
I'm
not
saying
acceptable.
I missed the inside joke.
No, he just knows that, like, I'm not the big pun lord. Like, all these rhymes, I kind of just groan. It sounds like just
They
dad
cause
jokes to
some
me.
physical pain.
Physical pain.
They make me yawn. What's worse
Wow.
than
Honestly, yeah, that shuts me down way harder than Saetzero being like, oh god, stop it. Saetzero just makes me want to do it more, but I'm just like, oh, really? They're that boring?
Oh, I wasn't here for the original Rhyme Fest or whatever we have it.
Well,
Anyhow, looks
oh,
like
it
we have
happens
2
every
hatchery
stream.
play.
It happens every stream.
Yeah,
Right,
there's no
there's no
origin story to this.
I
It's,
don't watch CPL streams. Yeah, the lair is super late.
Uh-oh.
With 2 hatchery play, you want to get your lair done by like 2:55. I'd say these are like tier 2, tier 3 games. So I think like 3 minutes 3:05 is pretty reasonable. But
There it is.
this is a 3:40 lair, so
Well, at the same
I feel
time,
like
though,
Zerg.
I think Terran is going to go for an eBay first here, which is not advisable against 2 hatch, but given this late lair timing, probably going to get away with it.
Yeah. I mean that's the thing, right? Like there's a couple of reasons why that's a really important thing for Zerg to pay attention to, and one of them is defending early stim timings, and the second one is like punishing greed from Terran, right? You don't want Terran to be able to get away with greedy builds against your 2 hatch, because you're cutting so much of your economy to get that pool and gas out quickly, right?
Yeah, well, I can tell you as a
So-
Terran player, when you see that layer go down at like 3 minutes exactly, you're like, oh god, this is going to be tough. I have to be ready for this really fast meter timing. It's terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, like the ideal timing is like 2:55 on the layer, right? Like that's when it should start.
Oh, can you get 255? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, totally. You can get earlier
that
than
12
that
hatch,
if you
11 pool?
spawn at 12. Yeah, 12 hatch, 11 pool, 10 gas.
Oh, okay.
If you're doing like a 12 hatch, 12 pool, 11 gas build, you can get a layer at 302, and then you get an extra larva when your layer finishes.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the other timing. If you go, but if you don't get like the extra drone, is it really worth it? And I think it's like a little bit weak to the stim timings from Terran. That Terran
Okay,
has
well,
started
speaking
doing
of stim
counter
timing,
threat meta.
I was incorrect. Terran's not going eBay first here. He's going for like the fastest possible stim timing on 2 base here, where you get Academy of 1 racks only. That's why I got the gas earlier.
Mhm.
he
So
has
he's gonna
he
come
has
in
an
a lot
eBay
earlier
though.
Than Diggity might expect. So what's that, Saetzero?
He has an eBay that's starting the +1 weapons upgrade though. It just
Oh, does
started
he
before.
now?
It's
Oh, never
in the
mind.
bottom
Okay,
of
I just
natural.
missed that. Well, still, he got.
Well, I'm
he
not
got
even
Academy
watching the
really
game.
fast.
This is
I'm
why we
just-
need a dedicated observer.
I'm just like guessing.
I'm just getting demoted.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
yeah.
I am. Like I
Well,
brought you in here to get
the
demoted.
The truth of the fact is Neblime's not even in the game. He's just like pretending he knows what's going on.
Well, Academy is pretty fast. I'm sure when he cut to get it, because it's faster than I would expect of an eBay first. But yeah, I was looking at the Zerg base. That's why, because we're talking about these layer timings. And all that.
So it was an early eBay, and then the Academy got started about the same time as the +1 weapons, and then the second
Oh, that's
racks
normal
afterwards.
That's normal for eBay first, so I don't know. Maybe I just don't know timings. Maybe when I play, I'm just like 30 seconds slower than everyone else.
Maybe you just don't know the timing for a build that you want. Overlord sight range getting researched.
Yes,
That's a little
the
weird.
strategy, finally. I've been waiting for this build.
Yeah, that's definitely a mythbook.
No, it's OP, I
but
see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit like Zerg is in a rough position just because of how late. Yeah, and we're adding 3 sunks now. Terran actually didn't move out before Zerg had
Yeah.
mutas, so I think that he probably could have built 1 creep instead
Oh, yeah,
of
Terran
3.
totally could have smashed with a stim timing here.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Zerg did
yeah.
have the Zerglings keep an eye on things, right? So Zerg would have known at least. Yeah, now with the mutas out, it's always going to be possible to stop this. Possible, but maybe not likely if the mutas go the wrong way. Uh-oh. This third base in big trouble. These Marines can easily stim this down before the mutas come back, I think. Oh god, and
Yeah,
2
for
Overlords
sure.
hatching here. This is horrible for Zerg. Oh, look at him.
Yeah, you're gonna lose that whole thing. There's no way. And there's also like Terran has turrets, so there's like you definitely need more than 6 mutalisks to be able to do enough counter damage to deal with this. Yeah, because also Zerg built Sunks, right? And I mean, okay, no micro at all.
Ooh.
We're just going straight in. And like the thing with 6 mutalisks too, guys, is that like that's not even enough mutalisks to one-shot an SCV. You actually need 7. So kind of like the ideal number for Zerg to start really harassing is 8 mutas, because then you can lose 1 type thing and still be able to like 3-shot turrets and 1-shot SCVs.
Okay, so Zerg goes back to 2
usually when
here.
you're
A lot of mutas
yeah. This is a really tough position for Zerg.
Well, Zerg has these 3 sunken, so until a tank comes out at least, Zerg will be alive. But I'm not sure where to go from here. And you know, Terranak getting all the barracks set up. And like the long line of barracks. Factory on the way.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'd do in this case. I think that, like, I've seen Hawk get into this position before, and he usually just, like, he goes Lurker Defiler on 2 base. I've seen him do it a couple times. There was, like, one match in, against Red Duck in I think it was a foul play in A for Roast Gallery, and he, like, there was a stim timing, and he lost his 3rd, I believe, and he just, like, he stayed on 2 bases and then, like, somehow won. It was, like, it was a crazy game, and it was on Eclipse
Dark
as well.
Swarm, anything is possible.
Yeah, it was, like, I think he went Lurker, though. I'm trying to remember if there was, like, something he teched to specifically, but I actually think he just went, like, Muta, and, like, did a bunch of, like, counter damage, kept building Mutas, then he went Lurker, and then he went Defiler, and he just kind of, like, dealt with the lower economy. But, I mean, the thing with that is, like, you have to keep your Mutas alive.
Hold up, Terran's coming in here, hitting these Sunkens. The Mutas are committing to the attack, but this is why you need the Mutas to defend, because with Stim Marines, cut through that pretty quickly. I think this game will end a bit quicker than maybe we thought. Terran just storming in there. Not well. They were storming in there, now they're just waiting. They're waiting for permission from the control tower or something. There you go. And yeah, these Mutas coming back, but is it even enough Mutas to stop this force, really? No, that's it, GG.
Alright.
Alright, so what I'm feeling from these replays is a little bit of Tasagi. I'm not sure why Saetzero picked these replays for me to cast.
Yeah, because Terran's the best race. They always win, and we want to see them win. Sounds good to me.
Look, Neblime, you didn't pick the replays. I'm not blaming you.
But I would have.
Yeah,
so what I'm understanding is I'm getting more blame thrown at me, despite you're like, I want to cast Zergs, I got this amount of time, let's try to fit things.
You're like, oh yeah, we'll cast Zergs. Oh, we will cast Zergs then. Just watch them die.
Yeah, how do you think me and Cold Warpcase felt before, when it's like, look at all these Protoss in this group, and it's just loss.
I wouldn't know because I didn't watch it.
I don't know how I feel about how open you are for being so into the community, how little community involvement you actually do.
I do tons of community involvement.
Just not our streams in particular.
Yeah, just not for CPL. I'm starting to understand that username you picked here.
I do community involvement for CPL as well.
Oh,
You would be lost without me.
Possibly. I don't know. Snipe could pick it up. And speaking of picking it up, the game is up.
Let's just make Snipe do more and more work. Eventually we'll reach some kind of singularity where everything that has ever been done and will be done is done by Snipe.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be fun. We can go for that.
Alright, what is with all of this Eclipse? Oh, looks like I get to do both intros this time because it's a DBZ!
Hold on. We're not, no.
Sendrez, the gray Zerg player in the upper right of Eclipse. And we have Sky Cycle, the pink Zerg, in the bottom left-hand corner of Eclipse.
Okay, no, we are.
It's magenta.
Now, before we get into anything, we are addressing this. We are casting week 2 of the preseason CPL admin that runs all the things. Don't you remember that it was on one map every game?
I know why it's on Eclipse. That doesn't mean I'm not going to complain about it. Have you even met me, Saetzero? It feels like you don't know me at all right now.
I feel like I expected more. You know, you put on that you put on the radio voice, put on the public face. It's just like, oh, I'm so much more friendly right now. No, we're getting like raw, uncut Storm Carlin here.
Oh, all right. Well, I can tell you right now that Sendrez is going to be winning this game because Grazerg is unbeatable.
Also, I'd like
okay.
to point out that it's going to be a pool opening from Sky Cycle, but given the long rush distance on this map, I think the 12 patch versus 9 pool is pretty good. So, I don't know about this opening. Of course, you can always just be getting the faster.
No.
Oh, you don't think so?
You need a benzene level rush distance for it to be okay. No, it definitely does not work.
I've seen 12 pool on this map.
Definitely does not work.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure we had an ASL. Yeah, I am sure.
Okay, alright.
So
there we go.
You're
There's
a
12
Terran
pool.
player. I'm a Zerg player. You're arguing with me about CBC.
Alright, play me in CBC, grudge match, let's go. I'll do 12 patches.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Well, ignoring the 12
anyway,
patch,
looks like
it's
it's gonna
12
be
pool.
a 12 pool against a 9 pool anyhow. So this actually favors our Grey Zerg player, but
Wow, what a coincidence.
yeah, exactly. But I like 12 pool a lot. The one thing that I would just kind of note is that like neither of these players have great sim cities in their main.
Oh yeah,
And that definitely favors the 12 pool player because it's very unlikely that 9 pool player is going to get lings in the 12 pool player's main. But for the 9 pool player, if the 12 pool player decides to mass ling, like instead of spore or instead of even tech, then you're going to have to like add sunks and like SimCity your buildings and hold your ramp, and then the lings will probably get in and be able to harass your base regardless. So I think that like we could put that being a big factor for Sky Cycle is that this pool really should be on the left hand side of the gas so that you can kind of nest a creep colony right below that.
Well, the thing is, Sky Cycle's going to have a speed time here. Okay, I don't know about this, just attacking right in there. I've got to question that move. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the thing with this is like, the one of the timings for 9 pool speed is your speed timing. So you come with 6 slings for 12 pool, and they should have 6 slings as well. And then the 12 pool players should, once they see this 9 pool, pull more, like 3 drones. And then because they will have equal amount of lings, but the 9 pool player speed finishes earlier.
He got a drone.
He did get a drone. This is kind of... It depends on what Sendrez builds from here. We do see that like Sky Cycle is being very greedy behind this and droning.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh, that fire
really
position
depends.
is like, please kill me.
Yeah. So I think that Sendrez could easily win by massing lings here. But it looks like he's actually going to drone a little bit from his natural. So we'll see what he decides to do. You wouldn't really have to build very many lings to just kill this outright, because Sky Cycle has no lings on the map right now.
Yeah, if he came in
so
with,
I'd
like,
really
8
like to
lings,
see
which he
Sendrez
has.
just go, yeah, and like this creep colony, this is... If you morph that into a sunken, it's gonna die immediately. You can't protect it. You really need sunks in ZVZ. No, for ZVZ you really need a sunk in a location where drones can protect it, because if you allow lings to get on top of it, they just die so quickly. Looks like the Spire also started for Sendrez. We have about... Looks like a 250 hit point lead on the Spire for Sky Cycle. So we'll need Sky Cycle to have reason to stay at home with his mutas after they finish.
Link's coming in here. Link's coming in here. The sunken doesn't really cover where the fight is happening. Although some links did already get taken out. Looks like Sky Cycle were barely enough to hold. Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong by a mile. Yeah, so this is the
yeah,
problem.
and now we're kind of seeing like the location of the sun. Yeah. Alright, looks like we're gonna run the lings.
Still so much mining time lost. And a drone or two. It's looking real bad for Sky Cycle right now. And the Spy for Pendros is about to finish.
Yeah, so the like I said, there was 150 hit point difference. So realistically, we need to see Sky Cycle not beeline to Sendrez's base, because if you beeline to the base, you should get drone kills and even it out, because we didn't spore here. So I mean, the 12 pool player basically has two options, right? You like mass ling and try and keep the 9-pool player at home, or you go and drone after 10 lings and build spores. But looks like the mutas are gonna stay and kill the overlord anyhow. So this should be a good position for Sendrez, because his mutas will be out like within very good time.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of whittling down this Spire already. I don't think this is going to kill it, but this becomes very exposed to like 4 more lings coming later or whatever. Getting an Evo here, but I'm not sure what Sky Cycle's going to do from one base.
Yeah, and the thing is like we already have the muta advantage here for Sendrez, so any fight that he takes is going to be good for him. Looks like he's just going to go with picking off another overlord.
Ooh, the counterattack? No, okay, not the counterattack. Ooh, I don't know.
That's actually a very bad decision.
Yeah. Uh-oh. And Cinder's, microing pretty well, getting those movement shots, doing plenty of damage there. And this sport's going to be finished, so at least Sky Cycle has somewhere to retreat, but still.
Yeah, we do see that Sendrez is actually stacking the mutas with an overlord. So you can see the overlord moving on the map. That's really great. I think these players are tier 3. So it's nice to see that kind of like base mechanic of muta micro being executed.
Saetzero, do you know what tier these players are?
Not offhand. It's all tier 2 and tier 3, but I reorganized things a little bit, so I don't remember which ones are which.
Well, in any case, Strom has passed judgment to determine, so if they're in tier 2 now...
Shade.
Well, I know that they're tier 3 because they're both RSL players, and also I made the team, so I know what tier people are in. Yeah.
Well, look, you said I think, you didn't say I know. So I'm sure.
Well, Saetzero asked me to be more, like, polite and public friendly, so I'm trying to heed his request.
Don't just throw everything on me. I'm not your scapegoat. I'm not your scapegoat. I'm not your scapegoat.
Alright, GG is called. Yeah, it's difficult as Zerg to like hold one base because your opponent can get a second gas. Alright, what's next? Saetzero up against NCX, is that correct?
That is correct.
GG
for who?
Saetzer's mic is terrible.
It is being replaced shortly. Stop shading me!
See, this is the real reason I can only stay for an hour. You guys will be glad to see the back of me.
Saetzero can only take it for so long. Alright, let's go.
Yeah. Alright, another game on Eclipse. Alright, looks like we have Ash-NCX, the Grazer in the bottom left. And the winner of this match, definitely, because he's a Grazer.
So we're gonna win so hard, not introducing the others.
Come on, Strom. You said you do it.
Okay. Are you gonna do a zoom in for me, Saetzero? And we have Saetzero from Clan Rev, the Green Zerg, in the top right. Oh, you know what else I know? These players are tier 2.
Aha.
Nice. I saw when I was organizing the groups and everything that NCX is colored purple. That's usually some kind of race pick. Do you know what the race pick is? Because I'm surprised it's not ZBZ.
The race pick is random because he's a random player.
Oh.
No, he's a random player, so I think it's kind of like he just plays what he feels like you like playing that week,
Fair enough. See if he has the Zerg skills to back it up. Ooh, the pool position again.
Much better from NCX.
Still not ideal.
But things are looking.
I'm never satisfied.
No, that's pretty good actually.
Sorry, I was looking at Saetzero. Yeah. I was looking at Saetzero. That's what I was saying.
No, I wouldn't. I don't. Yeah, not a fan of that. I would put it to the right of the gas. The thing with the Eclipse is you can actually kind of put the Spire behind the minerals.
Oh, I just realized.
And that's what I would do if I was going one base play. Because like if you're expanding and you have to go spores, it's a little bit difficult to defend the Spire if it's behind the minerals. But when you're going one base, I think that's like almost the optimal position to put it. The one thing about the pool placement for NCX is that if you actually move it, there's a spot you can put it, where you can boost the top mineral. The only problem with that is that it kind of wrecks the SimCity a little bit. So I'm kind of like, I'm okay with this placement. I think it's pretty good.
I was thinking, couldn't it be down one, right one, and actually like be touching the minerals in the gas, so that it actually blocks?
Yeah, that would be good as well. I agree.
I mean,
this is
that's
definitely
really
a step up from the last game, though.
That is
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, anything that'll make the Zerglings like single file though is pretty good.
Yeah. In Sakuro's base, since he didn't put the spawning pool between the gas and the minerals, is there any point putting like the spire there, or is that just dumb? I know there's that spot behind.
Yeah,
the
you
minerals,
could put the spire there. The thing with the spawning pool with the gas is like, I think if you move it like, I don't know, it's just I'm not a huge fan of that placement. It might be okay if you were going over gas, because you would want your spire in the safest position as possible. But for like this build that he's doing right now is a Ling Rush, and it looks like we're gonna see a base trade.
Ooh,
and I think this is going to favor. Yeah, I think it's going to favor NCX, but I'm not sure.
No, I think it definitely will, because there's already plenty of links here.
Yeah, I think it will as well.
Yeah,
and kind of an interesting thing about this is that we'll have to see how the drone drills go. But
he's not pulling the drones.
Saetzero is like slightly richer, because he actually did. Yeah, but he stopped running gas after feed, so there's no transition possible. Whereas like NCX actually has enough money for a layer right now, and this is basically held
for
NCX.
Is over. Look at Saethero's base.
Well, he has to actually attack.
He does. But I think he's got this, because there's 0 drones left. I mean, yeah, Saetzero has some minerals, but so does NCX. I think this is pretty over. And I think Saetzero
it should be.
At the minute. So wow, that was interesting that Saetzero went around, but obviously regretted it because it didn't really work out.
No, I actually think going around can be a really good tactic. If you know that your opponent is 9 pooling, but I like to preemptively build a sunk when I do that. So he builds a sunk late. I like to, especially if you're not building a layer.
Just to.
And even if you're not, I think you can just like, either you send 6 lings and then keep the other lings at the top of your ramp. Like one thing you notice is that Saetzero actually had his lings at the bottom of the ramp when NCX came by. So if you can hold the top of the ramp, that can be really powerful with like 4 lings. Or I think just sunk.
Saetzero did only have 2, so.
Just to sway this a little bit differently, NCX actually moved their first Overlord north, and they're the ones that went around the normal path. So they chose to opt into it, scout to make sure that legs would be seen.
That makes sense.
We got a drone up at NCX Saethero's base, right? I think that's a mistake, but could you go in here and make a sunken? Could be pretty devastating. Oh, he's sending it home.
Yeah, you could maybe do that. That's true.
I mean,
I think you can get that out of range. Yeah. No, but actually, that's a really good point because we don't have any lings from Saetzero, and we have way more lings for NCX. So this might not be enough lings to break a sunk, but you're right. A sunken rush could be a kill-all move here. The thing is that like NCX doesn't really need a kill-all move because he has tech.
This sunken position.
So we see him build a spire.
This sunken position is just wrong, unfortunately, and the drones are going around the wrong side. But he's running around the drones, keeping them alive. NCX having trouble killing anymore.
Yeah, but the thing is like, there's no way that NCX's tech is not going to be faster.
Yeah.
And he can just drone to his heart's content behind this, so. I don't know. I still think NCX is in a really good position. I'd like to see Aspire soon. I think he can afford it now. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
And now we have like five drones on minerals, 3 drones on gas, and we have 2 extra drones. This is actually more drones than you normally have with 9 pool, so you can easily afford mutas off of 1 hatchery with this amount of drones.
Okay, so NCX doesn't actually have that many lings anymore, spending money on all those drones and that Spire. I mean, it's not that Saetzero has a huge advantage there, but maybe he could come across the map and kill a drone or 2. I don't know if it makes a difference at this point though, because he has to use spores here, right? That's the only way he can survive. But he only has 6 drones. Yeah, and he knows it. He makes that evo. Cause
I think the correct decision here is to GG, but I guess we're gonna play it out.
Never give up, never surrender.
It's like there's very little opportunity to like come back in behind DVZs. You basically have to do it with muted micro. Because at this point, like, he doesn't have the he doesn't have the economy to go hive. It's gonna be way
course.
too late. So you need
It's not even
you need a like reasonable time. Yeah, you need a reasonable time Mutalisk to be able to actually go hive. And so like the only remaining option is to win it back through Meta Micro, and his tech is like too slow to win it back through Meta Micro. So there's like, I would say there's like almost no possible path remaining. Something that I might have tried as Saetzero is just like this, but like instead of building like more static defense and like more lings, is like just built an extra hatchery and mass laying on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Wouldn't it be theoretically possible to win with Lings here? Because, you have a window before Mutalisks are out.
I mean, it would be very difficult because your opponent took better trades than you and is on more, like, has more units. But if you put on a second hatchery fast enough, I don't know if you actually have the economy to, like, ever accomplish that.
Well,
but,
he
like,
has 6 drones. So.
Theoretically, I think that would be, like, the only thing that you could do, I think, from that position that he was in.
I'm getting
it was like try and go
still
to
not mining gas. Like, says no layer even started or will be anytime soon.
Yeah, this is just, and we see NCX is expanding, so this is kind of just prolonging the game at this point. But I like these decisions by NCX.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna pick off the overlords. Yeah, just picking off overlords and expanding. I mean, generally, if you're the player that gets the Mutalisks out faster, you build like 5 and then you expand and like start droning again, and then wait for your opponent to catch up in tech. Because if you just kind of like let them turtle behind spores, oftentimes the player's on 2 bases, and if you don't get that second gas fast enough, then you just end up behind in gas count. And the situation is a little bit different because the Zerg's on 1 base, but.
Yeah, so NCX finally going to come up in here and have a look. I mean, I think as far as the spore placement goes, there isn't anywhere you could hit a drone without getting hit, is there? But that to the right of the Evo, is that possible to hit that drone without the spore hitting you?
No, I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
Well, I mean, the best thing for NCX is to be make a bunch of lings and come in here, right? Because his opponent has 1 hatchery, he has 3. Oh wait, no, he doesn't actually have 3.
I mean,
I thought he was gonna
he knows Saezero's on 1 base. He doesn't have to do anything.
Like, I think in this position, because Zerg is on 1 base, I would probably get like, I mean, you could kind of do 2 things. You could like plan on playing a really long game and like go into Greater Spire and get Guardians, or you could, which is probably what I would go for, get +1 attack on your Spire. And then if you have +1 attack, you just actually fight spores really well. Yeah.
Oh, can anything go right for Saetzero this game?
But yeah, like +1 attack.
Oh, I like this actually because they don't even have a layer. You can trade your Mutalisks for drones all day. And there's not that many drones to kill, right? Could potentially reset the economy pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, you don't, like, I don't know, like, I think that's fine because you didn't really use any mutas, but like I said, if you mass mutas on 2 gas and get, like, +1 attack, you can fight spores pretty easily. It looks like we're actually going to go +1 carapace. That's better for muta versus muta fights, for sure, than +1 attack.
Moving out. Yeah, what's the deal with spores? Do they do normal damage? I don't even know, because I'm trying to think if it would take more hits.
Oh, I have no idea. They're really chonky, so.
They are. Yeah, a lot more than a turret, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, but +1 attack goes well against them. So that's kind of like the reason that you would get +1 attack in ZVZ instead of like +1 carapace, which is what you normally see people get. But looks like we've got 3 hatches for Saetzero.
And researching Burrow really wants to try to use links as best he can. Will be the only option he's got.
Yeah. I mean, in this case, like, we don't even have enough drones to support 3 hatchling production right now. We need 2 more. So, I don't know. We'll see how this turns out.
I mean, this is the only way Saetzero could win,
length of his own.
Yeah, and this sunken as well. This is a pretty good defensive setup. GG. Saetzero realizes never.
Yeah, okay. GG is called. Yeah. Maybe was hoping that maybe the mutas would be out of position.
ZVC seems so hard once you start falling a little bit behind. It seems to snowball
Oh,
out
he
of
was more than a
control.
little bit behind. Let's be fair. He had 0 drones.
Yeah, it was very behind.
Listen, I gotta be the other side of the coin to Strom Cars. I think the move here is to
Sometimes the
GG.
coin has one side, you know. Maybe it's here. Sometimes.
Damn, I'm corrupting the Neblime, guys.
Listen, I'm here for a good time, and you're not gonna ruin my optimism here. Like, listen, there's always a chance.
I mean, the real story here is that Saetzero's lawful good and I'm chaotic neutral.
What am I then? Someone give me an alignment assessment.
You're just
I'm like the monster with 0
Neutral
intelligence,
evil.
so I can't have an alignment. Alright, in the top right, in the yellow, we have Dark Sun playing Terran, the best race.
alright, and in the bottom left hand corner we have Melody, the white Zerg player.
That's pink.
Melody's actually on my team. It's white.
It's not.
That's pink.
It's not white. What do you... The coin is a sphere strong. It's definitely not white. Whoa.
Alright, a little pause happened. I think that's okay.
Looks like we had a little pause, yeah.
Better that it
Fairly
happens
early
now.
in the game, so.
Yeah, better that it happens now rather than when the muters are trying to do something. If you're having mouse issues.
I'm already impressed by the mining of the Zerg player. You can see that
Hey.
the bottom right-hand corner patch of her base has the drone mining from the right-hand side of the mineral, and it goes in a very straight line to the hatchery. I'm delighted. Yeah.
Okay, so Dark Sun going for this wall off. I don't think it's possible to do a link-proof wall here unless you get a factory. Even so, I question that depot position. So I'm not so sure about this. I don't expect there to be any early link shenanigans, but you never know. These walls can be a real downside in TVZ, I feel like, if it's not link-proof. It actually just hinders you.
Oh yeah, non-link proof walls. I've never really understood the point of that.
Well, when you're in one base
Because
versus
you
one
can
base,
just get in and scout.
the thing is, if you're in one base, you need to stop locust from like running past your defenses. That's the only justification I can possibly think of.
Yeah. Yeah, so
but-
anyway, I don't know if you know either of these players. I don't know Darkson at all, but Melody is a Grandmaster StarCraft 2 player, and I think she
Oh.
switched over to Brood War very recently. I was actually helping her with a little bit with some like ZVT builds the other day. Of course, that was after this game was played. But the thing is, and like somebody in the chat's like pointing out her APM, like her mechanics are there. Right, like she's gonna have she's got the AP grow and like do other stuff at the same time. A lot of times we see like the Grandmaster players come over from StarCraft 2 and they kind of like sit at like 1400, 1500 MMR. They don't really drop below that, so
Geez, that's lower than
I think
would've
that's like
expected.
kind of the case for her.
I would have thought Grandmaster.
Yeah, I
would
think
be
that, like,
better than that.
Yeah, well they improve very quickly once they start playing, right? That's like
Right.
I mean, the legend last CPL season was Butzelbear, right? He was Grandmaster StarCraft 2, and he was like he started in tier 3 and then he was tier 1 by the end of the season, like 1700 MMR.
That is
So
pretty
that's kind of like that's a trajectory, right? It's like once they start learning builds, they improve like extremely quickly. So.
Last season also crazy was like that. Basically
Yeah,
every
that's the
game
version
every
I
game
was
was like
thinking of.
if you didn't kill him in 10 minutes, he got to his macro and he was going to dominate everyone he played.
Oh yeah, it was insane. Oh, this Overlord flying right in here. Oh, I think these Marines will be able to finish it off if one of them goes to the low ground. Oh, that's pretty unfortunate for Melody. That's almost game breaking
yeah.
to lose that first Overlord.
Yeah, that really hurts a lot. I think I've only ever won like one game where I lost my first Overlord, and
What
it was a
did you
long
do?
time
Did you
ago.
go for like 2x low or something after that?
No, I think I just played normally. I don't even
Oh,
remember,
okay.
but I feel like it's happened to me once. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
sure.
bad.
I'm not sure. It hasn't
Okay, we
happened
got
to
a-
me in a long time because
Whoa,
I have like all my
what is-
Overlord.
What is this? We got a bunch of barracks going up before gas. Is Darkson just gonna come out here with a bunch of basic Marines? Like, is he just gonna come across the map with like 20 basic Marines and kill Melody? I mean, it could work. I don't want to discount it, but this is pretty off the wall.
I mean, you
Yeah,
killed that
yeah,
first
I mean, I feel
Overlord.
like this kind of stuff is actually really strong against 2 hatchery play because 2 hatchery is like the shenanigans for Terran, like one base Terran and like stim timings, it's a lot less flexible than 3 hatchery. So like you don't really have the economy to build lots of extra sunks. You don't really have the economy to build lots of extra links. And whatever you do, you're trading that for your muta timing, right? So I don't know. I'm not I'm sure that you don't. Yeah, I'm sure you don't agree with like the build overall, but I don't think that it could still work because we have a Zerg on 2 hatch that went. Oh, okay, it looks like we're going lurker though. Sorry, what?
Here's what I don't agree with is getting 4 racks then the academy and gas. That's what I don't agree with. You want to get 4 racks with no gas? I mean, that's crazy, but whatever. Live your best life, you know, send your unupgraded Marines out. But it just doesn't make sense to get the barracks before the academy because you need stimomedics when Zerg's layer timing hits. And it's going to be lurker here.
Is there any chance the academy is just for medics or fire bats, not upgrades?
Yeah, probably. Like, it's just going to be basic Marines with medics. But, like, you need scans, right? And the earlier you get those comstats, the more issues you're going to have. Of course, this Hydrogen was extremely late for Melody, so there's not going to be any sharp lurker timing here. But I still think the lurkers are probably going to be out before there's that much energy saved up, and no eBay yet either.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing with Zerg is that if Terran gets a +1 attack and Zerg gets +1 carapace, lurkers become kind of invincible. So we don't have an Evo chamber from Zerg. But if Terran isn't getting upgrades at all, I feel like lurkers could be really strong. I don't think it's the same relationship as like +1 attack, +1 carapace, but I still feel like that actually favors Zerg a lot because if Terran can't kill lurkers quickly, they can do a ton of damage.
What about getting +1 range for lurkers though? Then that negates +1 armor for Terran.
Yeah, I don't think that's as good. I think you want to keep the lurkers alive. Yeah, yeah.
I have my doubts. I feel like if Terran has +1 armor, that little extra survivability isn't really going to help you that much. Of course, Terran eBay is not finished, so this is all kind of a moot point.
Well, lurkers have splash damage. They just kill Marines anyway.
But that's the thing. If it takes 3 shots instead of 2, it's a big deal. It's a huge difference.
It just takes like 1 shot, I think. Like, I mean, if you have a whole bunch of lurkers and you're burrowing them, and then the Marines run into the lurkers, like the only thing that saves Marines is medics. I've literally never seen somebody go +1 attack on lurkers in ZVT.
Really? It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
You gotta show me you gotta teach me how to beat that then, because people do it to me.
I don't know. The +1 carapace timing is like a crossy thing.
Ooh, coming out here, Stim is done. Oh, no scan. I don't think... Well, comstats are ready, but perhaps they're not hotkeyed. So these Marines have to retreat. But they were able to contain these lurkers. They didn't get to the Terran base, at least. So Terran has a decent position here. Okay, there's a scan. Stimming some of the Marines. Decent spread, but I don't know if there's quite enough Marines here, and these lurkers are quite well spread. Ooh. What blood.
Alright, I guess, like, Zerg built a lot of Hydras, so one option that Zerg does have in... Yeah, one option that Zerg does have in ZVT, and this is actually a really fun option, is Hydra Lurker. So, this is kind of like something that I've experimented a little bit for, like, teaching, like, absolute beginners. Of course, I'm not, like, a very good player, so this is mostly, like, an RSL thing that we've been trying out for people that are, like, brand new to the game, don't know the mechanics at all, and because it's actually really easy, and it seems quite difficult for Terran to counter. I've had, like, very good luck with it when I've like tried it on ladder and tried it in practice games against like 1,500 players, and you just kind of like get a bunch of Hydras and you get a bunch of lurkers and you try and take a fight with a good angle, and that's like
what's interesting about this is it is a lot like StarCraft 2. Like it's a lot more like StarCraft 2 Zerg if you're doing this style, so it probably suits Melody pretty well to do this.
Isn't one of the problems?
Yeah, and it's just like it's focusing on macro, and I guess you're right. It's like a big ball of units.
Oh my God, these Marines! Run, Marines! No, not forwards, backwards! Oh, okay, they actually took one out. Oh, the double damage lurker spawn gets them. Oh, brutal.
All right, looks like we're gonna attack into these bunkers. I would say under normal circumstances this maybe isn't the best option, but Terran was extremely late to repair. So we'll see how this works.
These are pretty good. No, this is easy hold.
Yeah.
Even with only 3
I think that
actually I'm wrong.
Oh.
I shouldn't have said it. I jinxed it.
Alright, looks like Zerg just gonna go on and attack right in. No Marines in the bunker. Just SCB's trying to hide, and I think that GG is called dominating play from our Grandmaster StarCraft 2 player.
How long until S rank? That's what I want to know. I think if all those Marines
Well,
got
to
killed in that
practice,
clump,
I don't think very long.
I think if all those Marines got killed in that clump or like in the bunkers, it would have been a pretty easy hold. But yeah, Hydra's a pretty
Neblime,
bad
I have your answer for you. Return in the chat says people don't get +1 armor early enough for it to be relevant to get +1 attack for lurkers. And I think that is actually the truth. So there you go.
Well, I mean, people are allowed to do it to me all the time. I guess they're just wrong.
Yeah, I personally have never seen anybody do that.
I mean, it's the latter. Do people have to do things that make sense? Can't you just trust your heart and follow your feelings?
I mean, I can tell you what Terran players do on ladder. You'll be horrified. I mean, actually, I can't go on ladder very much.
Neblime was so excited.
What should I do? What should I do?
Are they horrifying strats? I'm just thinking about, mostly what I can think of is just dumb stuff that I'm not sure why they do. Like the 1 vulture and 5 marine move out, and I'm like, when you get gas, they're accessible to sunk. I don't understand why you think this is gonna work.
Because what if you didn't? What if you didn't?
Then you would die to the vulture anyway, so there's no point in building the extra marines.
A single vulture will win the game if you don't have a sunk capacity.
Well, actually, you would think that's true, but I've had Terrans get their first vulture in my main on ladder before, and then for some reason go... No. For some reason, they mech build is so unoptimized that we've got spider mines on the map, and then you lose 20 SCBs to 8 mutos, and then it's alright.
Oh.
That doesn't happen in CPL though. People know their builds.
That just means the coaches are the coaches are doing their jobs. So before we get into the next game, Stromcolin, is this about the time you have to dip out?
Yeah, this is it from me. Thanks for having me on the show. Sorry for stealing your thunder, Saetzero.
No, that's fine. I don't play Zerg anyway, so you bring you in, you can watch them lose a couple games, you get to talk and throw miscellaneous shade occasionally. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm just here for the trash talk. It's true.
Well, speaking of...
Wait, if a casting snipes game, we have to get you in, alright? Because it's going to be solid trash talk.
Yeah, I can, I mean, I'll stay for the first 10 minutes because that's when the game actually ends, and then he'll just stay in the game for another 50 minutes, and I don't want to cast that. So.
Oh no! You don't get to check out of a game before it's done. You have to keep talking about how someone could get back into the game. That's the true CPL caster experience.
Case, then get ready for a 5-hour cast for a game that ends.
Oh no!
Well, no. See, this is why.
Guys, Snipes should not be allowed to play in CPL because if we can't handle one of his PVCs, it would end CPL forever.
I mean...
Anyhow, look, I paid my dues, I came on a CPL cast, is there anything else you want me to say before I leave?
Right.
I would like you to say you had a good time.
I had a great time.
Smile?
I am smiling. It's always great to put you guys in your place, you know, you casters think you have the run of the place, but it's actually not true, so. Yeah.
Alright,
anyway.
so beat it so we can continue. Go ahead and leave.
Take part in this enterprise.
Yeah, you better. Alright. See ya.
Bye.
Good night. Alright, well...
Alright, so what have we got now?
Well, we'll wait just 1 second. We gotta tease it a little bit because we saw so many Zergs. We saw some Terrans. I see Clatter in chat. Where's the Protoss? Don't worry, the Protoss is coming now. We timed that out just a little bit perfectly, figuring it's oh, I know when we're at the bow out, we can switch to the equal opportunity casters, no crazy Zerg bias in the top right. We still got more Zerg though. It's a me pack rat in the pink, and in the bottom left, finally a Protoss on board. It's Telvanni, that scout master from the King of Tears tournament.
The scout master himself, based on what we saw yesterday, day before. I think we're gonna see some 2-gate action. I don't think there's anything else he's going to be doing in a PvZ. I'm so excited. Honestly, I think Telvanni's my new favorite CPL player, just based on what we saw in the King of Tier.
Dude, if you want me to go scouts, I want to be your favorite player. I'll go scouts. Don't don't tell Keen. Don't tell Keen, but I'll go scouts.
wait, is Keen your coach?
Yes.
That's right. He's Zerg player. What does he know about Protoss? If he's Scouts are a bad unit. You just say, oh, what do you know, man?
Yeah, so actually, I don't feel like I could sneak around any of that kind of stuff because you have someone like Keen or Hawk. I don't want to disappoint them, but the person that probably yell at me is Models. Like he'd probably yell at me so hard if I even talked about it. So I gotta hope he's not watching the cast.
The pylon in the main is down.
Hey, well,
bringing his signature build.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you remember correctly from the King of Tears, 2-gate in base every single game. He does not care. He will never be able to stop it. He has that true faith in the ability of Zealots being very good for their cost.
Yeah, anyone who's playing against him this week, beware. This is what he'll do if you're Zerg. I don't know if he does the same versus Protoss. He probably does, I bet. But Terran, who knows? Just he procs to them, it's a mystery. But watch out. Because, yeah, he, like I said when we were casting King Tier, he has, like, perfect decision-making with his Zealots, when to attack and when to not. Only lost one game to a Ling counter-attack out of the 5 games we casted of him the other day.
Well, 2 gates going down. I think we're going to be seeing the same kind of thing. Now, Packrat did go that nice overpull, reasonably safe, and you see trying to get the drone down to get that hatchery going, but this pro being very annoying, delaying it or having it be in position. Now finally enough minerals to actually get the hatchery. So it actually does seem like there's a little bit of delay going on here. If you could slow down that extra larva production a little bit, these Zealots might become very threatening.
I like that he didn't overcommit with the probe this time. He pulled back when it's getting a bit injured, going, alright, whatever, because he needs it when the Zealots arrive, of course. And that scouting info is always pretty good. So 6 circlings coming up, which is pretty good for Packrat. I don't know if he knows Telvanni, he knows this is what's happening, or he's just making 6 things by default. But it will put him in good stead so far.
Well, the drone does get to the front, sees the lack of a wall, so this is like the full knowledge on what it is. And you see Telvanni, even that first Zealot staying at home, not even moving across the map immediately. Looking like maybe they want to wait for 2 and 3 to come out and really force the Zerg to have enough lings, kind of check them to see how they're spending their larva, and put Packrat potentially in a dangerous spot.
Okay, so this probe, by the way, being so sneaky. If you want to be like the dirtiest of Protoss, you just put like your 4G in your main, start like walking cannons in here. I know it's like a 1k MMR strat, but I want to see it, you know. It'd be pretty funny.
I mean, Telvanni might be the person to do it, but Packrat up to the shenanigans, saw the probe in the base, never saw it leave, so manages to find it. But the probe does get out alive, doesn't get trapped, but already looking, here comes a couple Zealots moving across, and the beginnings of that wall at the front. But we're going to see if these Zealots can put on enough pressure. I think this might be enough links to at least slow it down. 12 out here, depending on how the fight gets engaged. This could go either way.
Yeah, I wonder if Packrat's going to get the 3rd hatch in natural, like we saw Ruzo doing. Okay, here we go. He sees the Zealots. This is too many links, though. He's just going to crush this, right? Surely. Oh, yeah, no, this looks terrible for Protoss. Great engage by Packrat. Perfect surround. Probe not being targeted, but nonetheless, those Zealots get cleaned up instantly.
A great win for the Zerg, barely lose anything. Some decent bruising on these Zerg units, but he's going to still be able to put the pressure on, force Telvanni to stay back at home. But if you look back at the Zerg base, it's actually a rush to lair, so maybe an opportunity to actually go Mutas instead of just threaten Mutas. And meanwhile, here come these Lings. They don't care about this lack of a wall. They're just walking right in. Managing to get a good surround on 2 more Zealots, get some real damage down, takes them out. A little more reinforcements, but still Packrat doing some very significant damage early on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with how many lings he's made, though, as long as Protoss can secure this natural, I think it's a decent position. And Zerg continuing to make lings, getting the Hydra Den in the lair, is this going to be like a slow lurker drop or something like this coming up, I wonder? You laugh.
I kind of hope it. I hope it, man. We see Lair and Hydra's like, I don't want to play against this, but it feels good. Like, I would love to watch
like,
it, just never have to do it.
Packrat's saying like, oh, okay, you open 2 gate. I don't want to play a long game versus this. We're going to end this one or another. Coming across again is Telvanni. I mean, the number of links is not that high, and you know, Packrat neglected to get link speed, which is quite surprising. No sunken here, but I think Packrat has enough to hold this off. Telvanni needs to be careful here.
Yeah, I think Packrat cut in every corner possible to get that lair super fast. Not sure how the gas count was early on, but he's gonna have a giant gas bank. And look, another good engagement finding it. But this time there's one more Zealot here, but still looks like the Lings are gonna be doing the damage they need to, even with some of them not participating in the fight. Again, the Zealot count gets reset, and Telvanni gotta be feeling the pressure right now.
Again, he didn't focus fire that probe though, which I think is a bit of a mistake, but nonetheless does clean it up. Okay, the next is only just coming up. Here's the thing, if Protoss can get the right cannons up, obviously Lurkers don't do anything. Okay, just finished off, and he did not see that Hydra Den. Like I was saying, if Protoss can get the right cannons up, obviously Lurkers aren't going to do anything, but it's the problem with cannons can't move and Lurkers can, so how do you defend every possible angle? Now, this Overlord of the Natural is not repositioning, and Packrat doesn't have any others nearby, so I'm not sure if this will be a drop. Maybe he's going to try and bust the front, but does that work? Is that a thing you can do? I thought cannons would just deny the lurkers.
Well, I mean, Hydra's kill cannons so fast. If you're just against slow Zealots, you can kind of try to weave your way in and forth. You might take some damage suiciding onto the cannons, but you see Telvanni here. There's not like there's buildings in the way. There's only 2 cannons. It's not very significant. Or at the very least, you don't engage the cannons at all. You contain your opponent, and that gives you the freedom to expand to your next bases, really set up for the mid game.
Yeah, that's true. Telvanni's defense is pretty weak at the front because of this. Oh man, he's moving out again, and this is a big mistake, I think, because the more Zealots he loses, the harder it's going to be to delay this like lurker bust going on here.
Yeah.
But still, if that was your goal, wouldn't you just make Hydras only? Like, I don't really see the goal of the lurker serve. I guess if you kill the cannons, like only the cannons, all the Zealots are left, it doesn't matter because the lurkers will just destroy everything. So maybe there's something to it.
Well, there's definitely a thing to say. If you go, you see this 2-gate opening, it's going into like that fast expansion, which the Overlord was at the Natural to scout it, and you're seeing investment in a forge and some cannons that delays the Cybercar so heavily, and you can see, you can see now, like there's no Robo even started. Lurker aspect's already finished. Lurker's being morphed as things get moved across the map. And if you look at Packrat, there's no drones being added on. This is very all in. So really trying to bank on the element surprise that's like, I know you don't have detection. If I could break this wall, I'm good to go because you'll never be able to stop me.
Yeah, this whole game has been played on 8 drones. Packrat, like, there was no time after he made his pool that he was droning.
This
I
is
like it,
the
to be honest. I think it's a good way to deal with this 2-gate opening. It's like, alright, I'm going to force this fight. Here come the lurkers, but there are 2 cannons there. Like, the Lings coming in as well. I think they will just bypass this. No, the cannon's hitting the Lings. Uh-oh, this actually looks pretty scary suddenly. Oh, and the cannon going to fall so quickly to those Zerglings, and then there'll be no detection at all. Uh-oh. Can the Zealots finish it off?
No,
that lurker on 19 HP. And now what can stop him? There's a cannon in the middle of the line, luckily, and Telvanni going to make some more. Ooh, more Lings on the way.
Yeah, these links could help really deal with this. The Zealots not trying to protect this cannon, trying to protect the ones that are morphing, but you can still see damage being done here. The Forge being attacked, same with the Pylon. Links going in, trying to get something done. It does some damage, but does not stop the cannon from morphing. You see a big investment from Telvanni here to like, build up these defenses. Packrat not opting out of this, still going to keep building units, very committed to try and get this to work, but as this cannon count grows, the odds of it happening go down very significantly.
Yeah, I think Packrat missed his opportunity there before these cannons finished. He needed to get in there and like control the ramp area, I think would be the best thing. But now, when these cannons are done, the Spoon's out as well, I don't really see Packrat coming in here. There's just no way. He's building up more and more lurkers, but like 5 cannons? Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I still like this decision we're seeing from Telvanni, though. He's rushing to that Robo. He's not adding on more gateways, and actually very quickly getting Dragoon range. So when he gets the Observers, his Dragoons will be able to actually fight the Lurkers. And you're seeing from Packrat feeling the pressure to actually get something done here, building tons of slow lanes, trying to build whatever units they can scrap together, because time's running out, needs to make a move here. But there's plenty of units here, plenty of cannons. It's gonna be very hard to break this natural.
Yeah, I don't know about this. I mean, that is a lot of lurkers so far. Maybe he can like get the splash damage from the lurkers to really just hit those cannons just right. Let's see.
Observer.
Here he comes. 5 lurkers coming in, and Lings as well. The cannons doing their work. Oh, the Zealots actually distracting the lurker spines the wrong direction. Yeah, there's no way. GG.
I think the idea was almost there. It was so close to actually working, and just having so little economy behind it, maybe you just were missing enough of the units to get it done. Maybe you had to use some Hydras to break the cans instead of losing all the Lings before, like really quickly like that. I'm not sure what you could have done differently.
I mean, 2-hatch Hydra, it's pretty bad, but it is a thing. You can just go for like a Hydra bust or 2-hatch there, and just catch progress trying to get all their stuff in order.
I mean, honestly, I kind of love that build a little bit. That I saw Protoss make Zealots early, Lurkers were made, the game didn't die to Lurkers. Oh, it's like I'm living a great dream right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw Telvanni dominate PvZ again. He's kicking ass.
Yeah, seems very comfortable in the matchup, at least with that style. Hopefully, the people watching these games will adapt and try something else, see if they can get a little bit of pressure to stop this madman. But we got a different matchup going in.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I'll go.
Nope.
We have the pale blue Terran, yellow Foxbat, in the bottom left, it's Yoet's Flash, aka Egg, in the top. So TVP coming up on the clips. Pretty good TVP map, I think it's quite interesting.
Wait, what'd you say? AKA what?
Egg.
Egg?
Just egg.
Why egg?
I don't know. Don't ask me why he calls himself that.
What?
That's one of his AKAs. Don't at me.
How are you gonna like say AKA not know the story behind it? What's going on here?
I don't know the story behind it. You have to ask him. Like that's just another name he goes by, man. Ooh, we're gonna see a forward gateway here. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, two-player map. You don't have to worry about scouting or anything, but it's still a pretty long distance. And we're seeing that a first supply depot being made next to CC. Is this setting up for some kind of wall that stops zealot harassment?
I hope so. I can only hope so. Right now it doesn't, because that's just tight. The thing is, the rush distance is quite long, but you want to keep Terran honest, make sure it's not a Rex first. Obviously, you just kill us first with this. So I don't mind it even if the rush distance is long. It's good, I think, as a pro player to just always mix these things in. Because if your opponent can say, oh, he never goes for zealots, then they can do like all sorts of things, you know?
Now, I understand like going zealot first, putting some pressure on, but do you really think there's much of a difference actually getting the forward gateway compared to just building it in the main?
Look, there they go. yeah, it is a big difference. Wait, whoa, what's going on here? It's a forge? Okay. Now this is getting interesting. So, I assume your Flash is going to try and put a pile on his main and creep his way in here. Haha! Maybe it was a mistake.
Oh no, he's canceling forge. Man,
no,
this is...
sorry, he's just doing Nexus first all along. It makes sense.
I don't think...
Make the Nexus. It's fine. Nexus first is a good build.
Oh, man.
Well, I will say Gates at the natural is not that good with Nexus first, because if Terran can, like, get away, want to very kind of Foxbat to offer that.
Yeah, honorable players here. Look at this. I don't like the Zerg players I were saying before. They wouldn't just be taking that. Like this is honorable play. We're gonna play it out. Like Yell Foxbat offering the chance, but Yo's Flash living up with the mistake they made. Now, if I was Yell Foxbat and I'm under the guise of being super cool, I go 2-fact here. There's no way you have the units in time to defend it. There's absolutely no chance.
Like, all right, let's kill this nerd, crush him beneath my heel.
I mean, at that point, it's like, it's just good strategy. Like, it's not even being mean.
Well, the thing is, even that true fact, you can deny this Nexus with, Marine Vulture. Although, I noticed Foxbat is not making Marines. Okay, there we go. I was going to say. I'm not so sure, because he was cutting Marines for a bit, and again, the Russians is long. Maybe Yellow Splash can still get away with this. Where is this SCV going, though? Is he going to build a second fact proxy? That would be quite good, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, do it. You know you want to. Do it. No, he's just doubting. I'm so disappointed.
Aw.
Would have been pretty high.
I mean, there's still an opportunity, but you do see the Terran building a bunker up at the front. That looks like they're setting up to take that expansion, so that's what I'm expecting, especially since guys got pulled out of the gas. So, not expecting any kind of super shenanigans here. We're not even seeing a rush to a first Vulture or anything like that, that SCV going down. Really just wants to get this going. Because while this Nexus first, air quotes first, it's still going to be a reasonably good economic opener. And I'm a little bit surprised that there wasn't the opportunity to punish the lack of unit production. But I guess just going off what your opponent says in chat versus actually scouting and confirming that shenanigans happened, that might be the way to go as well.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can just get mines straight away here as well. It's a fine opening because you can take a third pretty fast as Terran. I guess the thing is, like you said, because it's not really Nexus first, Protoss isn't actually ahead here. But still, it was a good opportunity to punish that I feel like you kind of missed out on.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a terrible spot though for the Protoss. I mean, the expansion's up and running.
Pretty even, I would say, looking at it.
Yeah, definitely just a little bit of a weird one. Foxbat opting to go for siege mode first with this build, which I'm not sure if you feel that's necessary. You even have the SCV in the base. You could tell that there's not a giant unit production. I think you could go for the Vulture, get some mines on the map, get some control, slow down the third base potentially. Any of those kind of options seem a little bit better than just rushing for siege mode here.
Well, I mean, the thing is, siege mode is like never wrong. If you just don't feel like going across the map and interacting with the other player in this game, then like you can just siege, take your third, go for max. You know, if you launched a multiplayer game and you just feel like playing single player macro practice for 12 minutes, you could always just go siege mode first.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It seems very stable. It just doesn't give you that opportunity to get on a map and really put some action down. Like, try to use some of your APM for something a little more productive. But, I mean, tanks do 70 a shot. Make a bunch of them. Sounds like a good strategy.
Yeah. That's the basis of Terran. Mines do even more damage, though, so sometimes they can be better.
We don't need...
We're going to come up here and see what's going on.
Yeah, we don't need to get into how much I hate the Terran units. We can get into it. We can get into a giant rant here. Like, we're not the only people that have race favoritism. Earlier in the cast.
Oh, okay. These tanks getting good damage. Okay, mostly only shields being reduced, so pull back in time there. But I guess now Yoich's Flash knows that Terran's playing super defensive. I think a third Nexus wouldn't go amiss here. 3-gate Robo coming up, so Protoss is playing super safe, as is Terran. So honestly, they're both setting up for a pretty standard game. I assume Terran's going to go for a third here.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of building up towards that mid game. A little, like, always hoping for a little bit more action on a map like this, especially with all this high grounds. Like, if one of the players moved across and got control of some of this high ground area, it'd be harder to move out and defend it later. But both players very comfortable sitting back at home. We're seeing a pro move out, but not moving to that normal third base. Maybe being super greedy, going up for that top left.
Yeah, I mean, the double gas can be useful. I don't know about this, like, 9 o'clock, or what is it, like 10 o'clock, I don't know. Is, like, the worst of both worlds, though. It has the same resources, but it's really open. Okay, he's going to go down to the actual third here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a misclip, maybe less familiar with the map.
Well, it's tough when it's in fog. Don't talk to me about Shakuris and, like, missing those bases, but anyway.
I'm not playing in week 1 for a reason, man. I don't want to deal with Shakuris until I get to cast some games and see it in action. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you read how my Shakuris game went. That's the game that was that I talked about in Discord.
That's spoilers, bro.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to say anymore. Like my game is going to get casted anyway. Don't worry about it.
Oh, not with that attitude. You never know, man. You got that caster privilege. You could choose if you want.
Yeah, but I really don't want to cast my own games, so
oh,
it's
no.
never going to happen.
No, it'd be me and Cole Warp Kits. It's all good, huh?
Yeah, if you want. I'm not going to say no. Interesting that a shuttle came up here so fast. I mean, it is always good to get, especially if Terran's moving out, but potentially could spend the resources on other things if you know Terran is just sitting back and not exposing themselves. So I don't know. Coming across now, 3 Zealots in it. You know, Protoss Army just looking pretty formidable here.
I honestly don't think so. There's a decent amount of Dragoons here to go with the Zealot drop, but you have a tank on the high ground, there's a turret protecting it, and plenty of siege tanks, but they're all kind of spread out here. I think that going for this, you're going to end up taking so much Dragoon damage if you don't do it exactly correct.
I'm not saying attack in, for sure, he would just get destroyed, but if Terran starts extending out into this wide area to try and take the third, I feel like Protoss could potentially get it.
I mean,
vultures are starting to be made, and they will be the key unit here to even out this composition.
Yeah, things getting really slowed down from Yoich's Flash, though. You see, like, the buildings being set up to protect this third, but the Nexus is still not on the way. The probe count looking pretty healthy, doing a good job of going for that, but I feel like there's an opportunity to be a little bit greedier here, going for things like the shuttle, all these extra Zealots and everything, and slowing down the Nexus to do it. I'm not sure how much I like these decisions.
Yeah, it is a bit awkward when you're stuck 2 bases Terran, but actually Terran's cutting SCVs too. Well, then Server gets denied. Terran actually going for a 5-pack here, not a third base after all. So it might work out better for Flash to be more powering and expanding slower, but you do want that third Nexus, and he has the money, so there's just a bit of a mistake coming up here.
Ooh,
And Terran's going to begin to push. Now,
yeah,
Protoss is prepared with the shuttle, a bunch of Zealots, but Zealot speed is not done, and that's going to be the key timing here for Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, it's also going out before Vulture Speed's done as well. Everything's unsieged at once, no slow move out here. An opportunity for Yoich's Flash to engage in here. Doesn't go in fast enough. The shuttle's so far behind. Siege Tank's doing massive damage to these Zealot units. But even with the slow speed here, Zealots managed to get on top of the tanks. Both sides losing a very significant amount of army. And with no more Siege Tanks in the backline or on the high ground, I think Protoss is actually going to be able to break through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you said, everything unsieged at once, that's all it really takes. And so Protoss just falls forward. Zealot speed finishes just now for that one remaining Zealot. Oh, he tried to eat that mine. You know what that Zealot was doing? He was trying to, like, jump on the mine to save the goons. Luckily, the goons refused it. But yeah, I think Terran just dies here because you don't have any tanks to stop these goons coming forward. Mines can try, but I don't really see it here.
Yeah, especially with an observer here. Even this bunker doesn't have anything in it, so there's an opportunity to just
Oh,
ignore
that's a
all
nice
this.
mine. Oh, gets stunned. Yeah. If there were 4 Marines in the bunker, Terran could buy some time. But yeah, this looks pretty doomed. No more reinforcements coming off at the moment, actually, but the third Nexus did finally start. Oh, SCVs are pretty good, though. Oh, almost got a bunch of SCVs in that mine.
Oh man, SVs haven't been pulled to fight these Dragoons. Never the situation you want to be in, but sometimes you just gotta pull the boys and hope it works out. Yellow Fox has
Well,
really
it
just
does. They're very good against goons.
yeah, no micro here, no kiting back, not taking the free damage. And I thought Yellow Fox was really just trying to buy time to get these tanks out, but manages to actually just take out the Dragoons. Now reinforcements moving across, but some siege tanks here and staying on the high ground this time, making sure the units can't get immediately on top of them. Although damage has been done, Foxbat lost all their army, lost a significant amount of workers, and the Yost Flash got their third base up. So definitely a good attack for the Protoss, and going towards Arbiter Tech, so they don't even have to keep forcing this issue.
Yeah, so the thing is, Terran has like no upgrades going. That's the main thing. So in the long term, this is a very bad position for Terran. You can see the Arbiter's coming at a pretty decent timing. So, you know, there's going to be like stasis and maybe recalls before vessels are even out here. So Vulture's trying to sneak across. Ooh, they take a lot of goon fire, but some goons getting baited in at the same time. So pretty worth for Terran actually.
Yeah, here comes another shuttle full of more zealots. So big user of making use of this shuttle, trying to break these siege lines with it. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is good. Just buy that time you need if the Terra tries to move out again, especially if they unsiege all at once and do exactly what they did before. This is going to be a great situation. Finally, some more gateways getting added on as well. So Yost Flash hitting that mid-game stride really effectively. And while Foxbat, there's no armory in sight. Finally moving towards a starport. That'll help out a little bit, but no third base, no upgrades on the way. This is going to be very difficult to make something happen if they don't do it soon.
Absolutely. I've never seen like a late game where Terran has no upgrades, but I imagine it'd be almost impossible to win. You know, kind of with maxed armies, if especially if Protoss has upgrades, which they are working on. The thing is, there's a lot of mines on those tanks as well. So if a couple of zealots manage to get in there, they will just blow everything up instantly. Okay, Vulture's trying to sneak out again.
Well,
Nice.
the observer getting caught out by the turret, but knows that there's tons of mines on top of it. One more observer being pulled down. So it looks like slowly clearing out some of these mines, not staying in siege mode though, so being very careful to go slow here. This might be the opportunity to try get something to work, but I think even just still, you can wait on these Arbiter to get across the map, get these upgrades going. Although units being reinforced as Yost Flash trying to move some zealots forward, they're not getting to the tanks though.
Yeah, those vultures, like not those vultures, those zealots tried to clear mines, but they just got clear themselves. This is not enough for Protoss right now, I don't think, though. Arcana's donating this, but mines on your tanks. Protoss says thanks. Boom. 3 go down. But the Protoss army just got annihilated trying to attack into this fortified position. See, that's the difference between tank sieged and tanks unsieged, I guess.
Well, also it's those tanks on the high ground that aren't immediately getting
Yeah.
killed off either. And Yost Flash keeps attacking, but not with a full thing.
Ooh.
Sends reinforcements, they're not in there. These unsieged tanks getting caught out by these zealots, so big more damage happening again, but still
Oh, the
these
mine!
two... Ooh!
Oh, I like how the big, massive, like, scary tanks pull up and the zealot's still there in the middle of the explosion, just sprinting in. Doesn't even slow down. Okay, so he will hold this, but, like, I think it's fine for Protoss to just keep trading when it's 2 base versus 3. You know, he just keeps using that tank count. The Arbiter is out, and I don't think there's much more recourse from Terran here. He does have armory at last, though. No size 30 yet, and he needs that third base, because he's going to mine out soon enough in the main.
Yeah, meanwhile, Pross taking that fourth base over on the left-hand side, expanding vertically towards that corner base while Yellow Foxbet is afraid to move out here. You see a couple more vultures trying to move out on the map. Scans going down, trying to see where these bases are, get an idea where Yost Flash is actually at. Sees the fourth base being made, some vultures moving in, but cans are just about to morph. This might be enough to defend this before any kind of mines can really get set up here.
Will be. Well, they do run away, so I'm not going to find out today.
Yeah, unfortunately. Now we're seeing Terran finally going to opt into getting some upgrades on the way. 2 armories. The first one starting that +1 weapons. It's a little bit on the way in a science facility also, so going to start being able to make some options here. Actually, a dropship going on. This seems like a reasonable choice here. Yellow Flashbat pretty far behind, needs to get some kind of damage done, and a dropship into the main or the natural might be just the ticket.
Yeah, for sure. At any point in the game, to be honest, dropship can just be devastating. And on this map in particular, I really like it because you have those bottom 2 right bases where you always have a drop path, and then the whole left side of the map, if you can sneak over there, there's lots of options too. So we'll see which way he goes. Okay, he's going to go to the bottom right first. No bases there this time. Oh my gosh, he's playing with fire. How close he's flying to the Protoss army, but I guess it's alright. I mean, there's no cannons in the main and natural, right? That could potentially do a lot.
Yeah, as long as it gets doesn't get caught out, but we do see Yode's Flash having their army postured pretty far forward, controlling this high ground area. And while Yellow Flashbat is slowly starting to bleed out, they still haven't started that third CEC. And as I said it went down. That's the caster curse. We're
Thanks,
trying
Master.
to we're getting into that mid game because I said you won't do it.
Someone needs to make a compilation of like our bad calls, because like even before in Strongest Year,
Well, it was accurate when I said it. Drop going down that natural, damage being done.
Ooh.
Only 2 vultures, so the other 2 are going to go into main. All the army's very out of position.
Yeah, this is doing a lot, and like Terran's kind of distracting with his little fights with the army. I don't think Protoss even realizes how much damage is going down. Oh, this is huge. Terran doing a decent job picking up a bunch of zealots as well, actually. So this is going pretty well on all fronts for Terran at the moment. Oh man, Terran ahead in workers for the first time now. If you can secure this third, suddenly this game's been kind of flipped on its head.
Yeah,
Missile on the way, so this Arbiter not insurmountable. I believe it has stasis already though.
it does have stasis, and he has plenty of energy to get something done here. There's science vessels on the way, but I don't think Shockwave got researched just yet. But these vultures still running rampant in the main. Did so much damage at the natural. So I think at the natural it was at least 16 probes and 10 more in the main. So giant damage from this drop. Just the move that we needed to get Terran back in the game.
For sure. Now it's still scary with stasis out. If Protoss can crush this army, I think Terran's lost his only real hope to take third CC. But it's still possible to make a comeback here. Well, Protoss is getting set up. He has a nice arc. I really like that he's split up his units from 3 different locations. Mistake a lot of Protoss make is trying to come in one spot. But I love what Terran's doing here. Just walling to the south and moving across to the left. I think that's what you want to do in this map. You just let Protoss have the bottom right, and you just work your way across to the left. And when you get to the very top left, you take that base. You basically got all the bases you need. Okay, unsieging 100% again though. I hope it doesn't happen again. Protoss going to take this opportunity to go in. He saw the observer that tanks were unsieged, moved in at the perfect moment. Here comes the stasis. Boom, gets the vessel. That's pretty huge when there's no other detection. There's turrets in the back. Another stasis goes down. Very nice on back 2 tanks there. A lot of tanks getting picked off. Does Protoss have enough to actually get in here though?
There's high Templar, but Storm's not finished research, so you don't have that splash damage. And these tanks so far back that it's just fighting away wave through wave of things. There's not even that many mines or vultures to slow things down, but these siege tanks all went back that couldn't get stasis, doing so much work to mow down his army. And you could take a look. The Protoss army got hit so hard that the unit counts are even again, and the vultures are coming back in the natural, trying to get more damage done.
Oh no, GG. Flash realizes, the Terran third base is going to go down, and from there, it's just going to slowly be Terran expanding, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Wow, what a comeback.
I mean, we have that omniscience. We saw everything. There's no reason for me to dip out of that game yet. The upgrades still weren't there for the Terran. Third base wasn't actually up and established just yet. So it was kind of a rough spot, but that's where you go into maybe the massed expanding style, throw some cans up, really get into a nice big army. But I mean, if US Flash felt that pressure, that's understandable.
On the one hand, I do agree the game was not over. Protoss had plenty of things going forward. But on the other hand, the trend of the game was like, okay, can't bust his army, and I keep losing probes to drops. Like, he was going downhill. Unless he did something drastic to change it up, I think he was going to lose that game for sure. I'm going to be right back for the stats next one.
No problem. Well, we got a little bit of time to plug it in. We got a couple more games in tonight. It's going to be Ill Chronic versus Binary Second. That's a nice Protoss versus Zerg for you guys. And then we're ending it off with the TVP. It's AKE3 versus Cadiux, Cadu, Cadius. It's like something like that. I don't know. I'm too American to understand how to pronounce weird names. But if you're enjoying what we got here tonight, this is the highlights that we had from Preseason Week 2. Tried to cherry pick some decent games out of the groups that didn't get casted. But tomorrow we're doing this again, but we're doing it with the higher end stuff, the tier 1, the tier 0. So it's going to be the same situation. Groups that didn't get casted week 2, the people that did well in their groups, so the players to look out for in that week 1 of the regular season. Maybe you can watch it, maybe scout out your opponent a little bit, see where their strengths are. Start being tailor ready for the regular season. Speaking of the regular season, we are now in week 1. If you didn't see what matchups and who you're playing yet, what are you doing? Like, it's on TL.net. It's got all the announcements. You better be finding your opponents scheduling games. The deadline for games will be on Sunday. Make sure they're all played before then. Shout out to everybody to upload your replays. Don't be one of those people that we want to cast your game and have the replays are missing. I'm going to yell at your team admins if there's missing replays. Don't let them get yelled at. Be the good person that uploads replays. And then starting next week, we're going to... Yep, you are back. I was going to say starting next week is when week 1 with the regular season is going to be done. We're going to be able to start casting that. We're going to get back to real CPL casting. Start building those team rivalries. There's no more Samyang Fire. Who's going to become the villain this season?
That's right. Look, if you don't upload your replays, I'll be on you.
Yeah.
Don't try and adopt the culture of Samyang Fire now that they're gone, because that was their culture, just never uploading the goddamn replays. I cannot stand it. Alright, in the top right here, in the purple, it's binary second. Bottom left, in brown, it's Illachronic. I don't know Illachronic. Is that an AKA?
No, that's just the name, I believe. But not a name I'm familiar with either.
Just see, don't you try and defend Samyang Fire's replay uploading in the chat there. No, I'm doing it. Every week. That would be the team I had to go to.
Yes, it was them. It was them. Like, it was other people too, but it was definitely you the most.
Okay, so we're in this Samyang Fire free game here in Eclipse. I suppose we're not going to get to see 2-gate in base from any other player, but that's fine.
See, so Chess, you're like, I never missed a week. That's probably right, because you're a caster. And so you're not even on your team being like, hey, you should help those casters out. You just, about me, it's like, my hands are off it, man. Not my problem.
That's right, as Cogwalkgate says.
God, no! No!
Should I read it out?
Yeah, we'll read it out. He spent the time to think of it.
If your team forgets to upload all their replays, Neblime will roast you till the end of your days.
I'm so angry.
Am I my brother's keeper? I don't know. Doesn't the Bible say something like that? I don't know. I've read the Bible.
I mean, I've read parts of it, but I wouldn't know about stuff like that. I mean, you could.
Am I a noodle hoarder?
I mean, passing the buck is the move of the cowardly man. Like, you can just take the. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now we are seeing a Forge expand for once. It's not 2 gateways in the main. Ooh, this.
First, dude.
Yeah, this is a very interesting opener so far.
Spicy.
Now, the probe did get there in time. Is going to be able to scout this. So there is just the option that I can just get that Nexus, get going, or
my favorite.
try to can rush the natural.
Yeah, I want it. I don't think he's going to do it though, because he didn't even try and block the hatch. In fact, he's already getting a cannon, which is just straight up a mistake. You don't need that first hatch first. So Illachronic really not adapting right now to what he's scouting. So Binary Second going to get a nice little lead from this, I think.
Yeah, this is one of those things that if you don't play a whole lot of this matchup where you're not feeling comfortable, getting cannons, it's never bad. It's never completely wrong. It's not going to be useless. But especially against something like a hatchery first, you need to gut every corner you can to make sure your economy is set up to be in the spot where you want it to be. So if you scout hatchery first, you can always skip that cannon. You can go Forge straight to Nexus, no issues.
Well, we have seen pros do Nexus Gateway Cannon versus this, actually. So I think that's definitely option 2. Now that probe's hanging around. I was hoping it's not too late. Put down the pile, but it's probably too late.
Oh, no, it's totally too late now. It's way too late now.
Okay, so he's not going to try it. Look, as we've seen again in pro games, like it's kind of not really good, but I just want to see someone try. Goddammit, when they pull it off, it'll be amazing.
I mean, it is very much dependent on the kind of map we're on. But looking behind the mineral line of this natural for the Zerg, there definitely looks like there's good places to put some pylons and cannons that'd be hard to get to. So it's like, it feels like something you could do. And I think it may be something you just don't think about enough, because hatchery first is so rare. This drone trying to get in the drone gets in, does confirm the Nexus time, so if you're sharp enough to know those, like that would see that like, oh, this cannon was made first because that Nexus isn't even done yet, but maybe a little bit off here. Now we are seeing a Hydrogen already on the way, just still 2 hatcheries. So
Ooh.
Binary Second going hatchery first for the extra eco into Hydrogen for extra aggression. Little bit unusual. It's going to be, I think it might be hard to read this.
Saying 2 hatch Hydra, it is a thing. It's a thing you can do. I don't know if you should, but you can do it. But by the way, these links can actually get in pretty easily right now. There's nothing blocking at all. Not as though even on the way.
Yeah, little unfortunate. Things getting shuffled around a little bit. Now, to put this in context, this was some Tier 3 players in this group, and they did well in their groups, but again, they might have dodged a little bit of the matchups. Ilchronic may be feeling a little uncomfortable with this build, as they know it's very easy to skip that Zealot if you're still trying to feel out the timings of when everything finishes, because it's not like when you're doing a build in base where you could see when everything's completed. You have to kind of remember when it's part of a wall.
Yeah, for sure. And we see Basic not going to try and get in there. Just waiting for the Hydras to come out. We got Hydra speed on the way. Still droning up pretty hard though. I wonder if this is going to be like a 3rd hatch going down. Yes, we hear a drone coming out, but with some like Hydras to pressure a bit earlier maybe.
I mean, there's definitely an opportunity here. I think Binary Second just waiting for that link speed to finish. Now link speed's done. These links gonna run.
The
yeah,
left.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so 3 speed lanes getting in. 1 very injured, but still, this is enough to start getting some big harassment down. And actually just going to start attacking the Stargate. Not sure how much I agree with this choice. It's going to be hard to get it killed before some things get in there.
Sorry,
Go for...
this Zealot over. You can like start attacking the Nexus and Protoss just has to react, you know, so it doesn't really matter what you pick. Wow, this is doing so much for Zerg right now, and you know, Zerg microing this pretty well too. But it's tricky to be macroing at the same time. You see that money spiking up, but I mean, if you get enough damage, it can still kind of be worth it. Keeping all 3 links alive so far. Oh, this is brutal for Protoss. Gonna start to work on that Stargate again.
Yeah, it's still just a rough situation that we're seeing. The Zerg back at home wasn't really doing a good job keeping their macro up. Even that drone that moved out went to the wrong location, so that couldn't be made into a hatchery. A couple more drones being added on. That Corsair's on the way. Stargate took about half its health and damage so far. These links still being in the base, still being very annoying, but I think at this point you're kind of losing efficiency with how much the macro is dropping from the Zerg.
Oh, 2 links pop at once though there. Yeah, but he did kill a lot of pros with this, but you're right. I mean, you do have to prioritize your own macro in the end, unfortunately. It feels really good to be harassing your opponent. You're ultimately just getting yourself behind if you don't macro. Still making more drones here. The Corsair is out, but so is the Hydrogen, so I don't think Zerg will have too much trouble dealing with this. No Hydra's being made so far. They don't take super long.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate, though. I think this might have been a case of one of those, like, Binary gets the speed lanes in, and it's just like one of those, like, I don't know what to do. I didn't think I'd get this far. Like, not used to having them, so not used to being able to control them moving through. Ilchronic's Corsair moving across the map is going to be able to see everything on the way. The amount of hatcheries, the lack of a lair, the Hydra then being completed, even though they didn't really see any Hydras poking around at the front. And if you're, like, I think the Protoss feels pretty comfortable moving around. It's like, oh, this could have been so much worse.
Yeah, I mean, you get very nervous whenever those links get in your base, right? But yeah, as you say, there's not that much going on for the Zerg at the moment. Now, he is adding another hatchery in the main as well. I think he has a decent drone count, considering he was stuck on 2 hatches for a while. So he could potentially be making a lot of Hydras soon. And coming across here. And we see the Templar Archive still only on the way, so it's going to be a little while until Storm is out. One problem here for the Zerg is, though, since the laser delayed, no Overlord speed can come out, so a Dark Templar can potentially just hold off any attack.
I mean, still, even just this move out with these Zealots can start doing some pretty significant damage. Because if you look back at Binary Second, they've been droning real hard trying to get some things set up, but there's like only a couple Hydras here. There's no stack defense, no links on the map, and 5 Zealots moving towards that 12 o'clock base, which is now finished, can't be canceled. This might be enough damage to cancel this base and send it right back where it came from.
Yeah, I think it will be, because his Hydras are out of position. Oh, kills that drone too. He was just a baby, he was only just born. But yeah, this hatchery's going down for sure, I think. That's pretty unfortunate.
And this is actually...
Although I've cursed it now, haven't I?
I mean, you said...
Oh, the egg! The egg disrupting them! Oh my god, are you kidding me? Okay, no, they're still gonna get it, right?
Yeah, they're gonna just go for the kill. They're not gonna try... Yo, get it! You... No, come back!
Oh my god. That was terrifying. Well, nice micro in these Hydras. Pulls back an injured one, that's very nice. Zealot speed finishes just as this fight's ending, funnily enough.
Yeah, also the +1 weapon's literally about to finish as the Zealots get cleaned up, but big damage done there. Slows down that hatchery. No larva really got to be able to get used there. Now, Binary Second did drone really hard earlier, so their economy's still looking pretty decent here. Adding on some more hatcheries, the lair completed now, so there's definitely some choices of where the tech can go. But it looks like Chronic trying to sweep around with these Corsairs and just really trying to build up this pretty intimidating two-base army.
Yes, that's the thing. Maybe, Illichronic's sitting here like 300 IQ. Like some would say, attacking with legs and +1 isn't timing, and attacking before that is an anti-timing, but that's just what the Zerg expects. So it comes across as 5 slow zealots, kills that hatchery before all the upgrades are done. Yeah, I'm just starting to go to work here. There's not that many of them over here, and I mean, if the zealots all fought together, I feel like they could give these hatches a run for their money, but they will retreat, get the help of the cannons. Pretty sure they can hit this forge back.
Yeah, this is some pretty big damage. These Zealots not trying to dissuade this. You don't really want to lose this forge. Like, you got that fast Templar Archive. You're going to be able to get storms and everything, but keeping those attack upgrades up, keeping these Zealots as useful as possible.
Oh,
a little
I didn't realize that Hydra's still injured. That Zealot ran into the center of the formation, just sniped that guy. Okay, yeah, as I said, these Zealots are kind of enough to clean this up. And he did not get the forge in the end, so really just wasting a bunch of Hydras there. And Zerg not really macroing so many out. He's trying to hatch a bunch now, but his drone count's still pretty low, really, considering he didn't have a third hatch for a long time.
Yeah,
Storm is going to be out.
I've been trying to keep tabs on it, but I don't think I've seen the lurker aspect get researched, despite the lair being completed for quite some time.
Started.
All right, yeah, as I said, see, like, look, just wait 5 seconds. The best caster advice.
That was the caster bless. You got confirmed like 2 seconds later.
Yeah, I could just literally say anything; it'll come true 5 seconds later.
He's about to queue up 5 scouts, and go.
Well, no, like you gotta keep it within reason. If you try to abuse your powers, they'll stop working.
Ah, that's right. Great power comes great responsibility. Did Storm get researched? I didn't see it, but it's quite likely
yes, it did. Yes, it did.
All right, here we go.
As you'll see right now, great Storm. First one hits so many.
But they're on top of the Templars already. They just ran past the Zealots. They don't care. And the Storm kind of hitting the Zealots pretty well too. Is Zerg going to take that fight?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It looks like a little bit. Actually, the
Zealots are pretty good.
Yeah, the Zealots in the back were fighting that half group of Hydras. The ones in the front weren't assisting in that fight. I think if everything was fighting all at once, the Zealots could have lost that fight, but just because they found a good engagement where they weren't being fully engaged on, there's an opportunity here. The Zealots trying to move on across the map, just keep putting the pressure on, but Bayern Second taking their speed Hydras. They're taking different paths, and they're just going to bypass each other. And I'm not sure who I like this for more. There's no defenses up at the 12 other than one sunken, but there's not real.
I like it for Zerg because as long as they can send some reinforcements, I think this hatchery will survive, especially if the drones start fighting. Well, I guess Protoss is going forward and focus firing. No, she's fine. Yeah, I think the hatchery's going to live, and Zerg getting in here and doing some damage. If there is a Dark Templar, then there's no Overlord speed or nearby Overlord for that matter, so that's definitely going to push this back. So many cannons, even a Storm. Oh, these Hydras are having a bad day. But the 12 is fine. 12 is okay.
Yeah, both players kind of engaging a little bit beyond their means, losing both their armies that are trying to move forward, and kind of getting reset back to neutral here. Going back to a spot we saw like a little while back, it's low supply counts, a small lead for the Protoss player. And now the base is finally getting started for Binary Second to survive, so they're actually getting some value out of this 12 o'clock. No move just yet to take a third from Ilchronic. And unfortunately, though, it looks like they have no intention of doing it. Lots of gateways made, still building tons of units here. I think they're still just going to keep trying to gear for this two-base push and try to keep putting pressure on the Zerg, maybe just deny the fourth.
Well, this is one way Zerg can win, though. Zerg can maintain their 3 bases and deny Protoss' third. They will eventually win. It's going to take a while, but it can be done. Oh, what DT's coming out, by the way? I was going to say something else about Protoss, but I forgot what it was. Oh no, it's about Zerg. I'm glad that he's adding on a lot of hatcheries, because a lot of new players don't realize they need to do that. But he could be putting them more helpful city positions, because you really put them at the front of your natural and the third to help block the Protoss army. But it's good that he has 6 hatches already.
Yeah, maybe just
both players scouting like crazy. Look at this. They're both just looking around, seeing what they can find.
And now we're seeing a little bit of that opportunity that the Corsairs hunting around for some Overlords and a DT sneaking their way through. If you look at that 12 o'clock, there's some lurkers made at the top of the ramp, and there is detection. So this DT is not going to be able to get in, do anything. Just gets in and gets killed, confirms lurkers are made. And if you look back at that Protoss base, I don't see any observers. I don't see a robos. I don't see nothing. So detection very far away. And once you see lurkers on the map at all, you realize that moment. It's like, oh, I forgot detection. Like this. And all your pressure has to stop until you get them.
Yeah, the Zealots even forced to retreat by this number of Hydras. Or they heard me and they're like, forced to what now? We can take it. I don't think it's going to work out for the Protoss though. I think, a decent storm, but nice dodge. I think these Zealots are going to get picked off here pretty easily, and that Templar even doesn't get away. Yeah, there's just lots of Hydras. Oh, nice Storm though. This Storm's doing some damage actually. Maybe there's enough Zealots.
I think the fight keeps going back and forth as you keep questioning what side's going to win it.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, Protoss does win in the end, and he's finally sending a probe to his third. Corsairs looking for more Overlords, and they will find one. Oh my gosh. 6 Corsairs and no Spire to stop him? This gets pretty terrifying for Zerg, to be honest. If only that DT was still alive, he'd come in here and do massive damage. Looks like Zerg actually going to get a Spore, and to be honest, I don't blame him, given he has no Spire. He might not actually have any choice for that base. Okay, Zealots coming across. They got a bit overconfident after their victory and thought they could take on the entire Zerg army. Unfortunately, they can't.
Yeah, still just...
There you go.
No, I was gonna say, still just units being attacked a little bit recklessly, getting things killed without getting too much gain from it. But at least these Corsairs trying to find some opportunity and value, not overcommitting and getting killed by Hydras. Link does sneak out around the bottom, looking like they're scouting around, seeing if there is that third base. We saw a probe move out towards the 9 o'clock, but it got misclicked in the fog of war, didn't actually go into base, and that nexus hasn't been started yet. So Chronics having time to set up that next base, get things moving, but instead just falling a little bit behind on the macro, not getting that next step started. And you look that some of these bases are starting to run low on minerals. Biosec is taking this opportunity to get an engagement in the middle of the field against some Zealots that really should not be there.
Oh yeah, they're going to be destroyed. Yeah, there's still no Robo coming up. I do really like Biosec that he's trying to scout all over the place because he knows that his win conditions... Oh my god, the Overlord jackpot is going on right now that we're missing. Oh my god, this is going to kill so many. There's only like 1 Hydra here. It's not enough to stop it. Even with speed, they can't escape. +1 air weapons is done. Oh my god, it's a massacre. Oh.
Yeah, so can't make any more units for a while until these Overlords get replenished. So much damage being done.
Does he need to, though?
Yeah,
look at his army. He's got a pretty mighty army right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Definitely a good opportunity, good army here, and still with that lack of detection from the Protoss player. Now, there was that decent bank, which makes it nice in these kind of situations. You have plenty of larva off these hatcheries. We're seeing 12 Overlords in production right now, but the Corsairs are waiting in the base. They want them to pop.
Yeah.
Bring them right to me. As Protoss also moves out across the map with some Zealots to keep some pressure on. Chronic really being active with their units and getting some value out of it.
But he hasn't expanded to his own third, so does it really matter in the end? He's doing well with these Corsairs, but those Zealots are going to get shut down pretty hard. I mean, this is pretty well defended against a few Zealots. Oh my god, these Corsairs though. Oh. How many Overlords have died? Like 20?
Definitely.
Continues to fight it. Continually more groups of Zealots getting baited in and destroyed.
I'm not gonna say I'm having a great time right now, but I really there's just a giant smile on my face watching a whole bunch of these party favors explode into confetti of just burying you in a lack of supply. This feels really good. You see Biosec trying to get something done in the meantime, poking forward a little bit with these Hydras, but very wary to move too far forward. The storms have been pretty good so far. Plenty of cans at the natural as well. This could be an opportunity to keep shutting down that third base at least. But I don't know if maybe Biner doesn't know about it.
Realizes his advantage here. He's building 5 DTs because, like, you know what? These Overlords just can't survive, can they? So he's just going to come in with the Cape Boys. Now, one more being made, but those Overlords, to be honest, are still pretty vulnerable. Instead of slacking.
Well, I think even if you get...
Knew about it.
Yeah, I think even if you get these Cape Boys to that natural, you could see them. It won't matter. They're going to kill everything because there's just no units there. All Binary Second's army is so far forward. Giant probe.
About this third now, yeah. If he goes in there, he'd kill the Nexus and a lot of probes to boot. A couple of Corsairs actually going to fall to Hydras, unfortunately. They're trying to get in there, but there's enough Hydras and spores. Finally, the bleeding is stopped. Zerg just needs to send a bunch of Hydras over to this third, and I think that's all he'll need. Okay, but the Protoss going to move out before that.
Yeah, one Zergling's attacking that Nexus as it's about to finish. And once that the Zealots come defend that and trigger that attack warning, that might be enough.
They just gunning them down. The DT's trying to stop him, but they did a lot of damage already. Only 35 probes for Protoss. That's extremely low. I guess his main is already mined out. The Overlord even shows up. What a hero. The Corsairs are busy getting like bullied by Hydras in the corner of the map.
Yeah.
And if he had those 5 Hydras like 3 minutes ago, he would have just come in and killed the entire Zerg main.
A couple lanes getting sent over to the 9 o'clock. Trying to put some pressure on here, but there's units still left over. Going to be able to keep things moving here. Now both
Those probes are so close to dying. They're like living on the edge. Okay, now they will be cut off, but they made it. The third will hold for now. Zerg getting a 4th at the same time though, so Zerg's still in a pretty good position here.
Well, especially if you look at that bank, the Zerg has so many minerals banked up here. I would love to, if there was already a hive that smells Ultralisk, that feels really good, but there's still plenty of larvae. If you want to just slam down a bunch of use, as you see, 18 Hydras in production right now. So really cranking up that army. You can see Binary Second actually takes the lead in the supply. Now, Ilchronic sending a little sick squad up to that 4th base that just got finished. There's a DT and some Zealots. There's no detection here, no army. I think this hatchery will go down before it does anything. But Binary Second moving into the 9 o'clock, going to do damage of their own.
Well, I think they will get denied there, so it's actually looking pretty good for Protoss, taking out a 4th, keeping their 3rd. So now the situation is kind of reversed. If Protoss can keep denying bases and maintain the bases he has, he will eventually win. Oh, that DT. Oh, the Overlord showing up just in time. Or is it? Okay, yes it is. And yeah, the Goon's out. Still, Robo's only just starting. 19-minute Robo instead of 9, but eventually. He'll get there.
Actually, double Robo here, so I don't even know if like this is the intention to get some observers, or is this going to be that attempt where you really hard turtle, get that base secure with some Reaver to add on to the cans?
I mean, it's not a bad idea, as long as you can keep denying the Zerg somehow. Oh, this DT in the bottom right, by the way, going to do work, because there's no detection. Well, if it moves. He's too stealthy, he can't even kill anything, he's too stealthy to kill. Oh my god, this Protoss army getting massacred by lurkers right now. Oh, DT's still going to work, but they can't see. Ironic, they could stealth themselves, but they couldn't see the lurkers. Oh, no, they're going to get taken out.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Corsairs too. Everything going wrong for Protoss suddenly. Looked so good up until a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I think just getting to that point in the game where there's more things happening, losing a little bit of the focus as you move through, and especially like you've seen how many times armies gotten rallied over this lurker field outside the natural. I think there's just one of those like, my stuff is dying, I'm sending it to attack this place, but they don't get there, and you're not putting the puzzle together. You're not figuring out where the problem really is, because the same mistake keeps happening over and over.
Yeah, I mean, we see Zerg on the flip side just has this like enormous bank, has to know how to spend it. So both players struggling in their own way. I think these Lings won't get too much time. This DT really helping out with that as well. Honestly, the best thing to do with a base like this is like a doom drop, because it's very hard to get up that ramp otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, if you could just defend that 3rd for a little while, Pro should be feeling pretty reasonable here. You can see the natural minerals about to mine out. They have to establish this base. It's not like they have a giant bank. Binary Seconds actually still has a ton of money left over. Finally working towards that Queen's Nest, so going to be able to move forward. And a Spire on the way as well. So, I mean, they've killed a decent amount of those Corsairs. They see they have not been replenished. This could be the opportunity for a massive Muta switch.
Well, it looks like he was to inching close to his lurker containing now, but yeah, with that kind of bank, like 30 Mutalisks, that's no joke. You can show up and do a lot of damage with that. You gotta get in here and pick off what he can. Baiting those Zealots for, but little does he know, the Observers are finally here. Well, actually, even with Observers, I'm pretty sure these lurkers will decimate Zealots.
Yeah, they're
Really
doing so much
there
damage.
goes the Observer.
He worked so hard to get that observer. It left all of 2 seconds. Super unfortunate. This Zerg army takes a very commanding win. Keeps the contain outside that natural. And you can just see as that Spire nearing completion will be a giant Muta switch. We do see that Queen's Nest done, but no lair start or no hive started just yet. Kind of just playing a little bit the UMS, playing with the small amount of army they have up at the front, and just letting the money fly.
It's working. It's working. He kind of killed the whole Protoss army with that, so not bad. And like his 4th hatchery is done, just needs some drones. Oh, I guess when you have this much bank, is that really the problem? Okay, 4 minutes being made, but that's not very many.
Yeah, just enough to remind him to start making Corsairs again. a tease, a Muta tease, as it were.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, is that a valid strategy if like you show some Mutalisks so Protoss panics and like goes makes Corsairs? Yeah,
well,
Zealots come out again, but they are really not the best unit to fight these lurkers. Lurkers with +2 missile, in fact, and only +1 armor from the Protoss, so they crush those Zealots.
look at the numbers of kills on all these lurkers. You got like between all of them like a good 25, 30 kills across a variety of army units. It wasn't even like all probes or some nonsense. There's so much damage being done by these lurkers that have not been budged at all from this position. Really just secured, keeping the Puros back at home, unable to move out. You see even Lynx moving out, moving around, trying to see like maybe Puros take a 4th base, but once they confirm that's not the case, Binary Second should be feeling very comfortable about where they are in this game.
Yeah, and finally just saturated this his own 4th. He's going to take a 5th. I love it. Keep expanding, never stop. The Corsairs trying to beat back those overlords so those observers don't die, and they do kill them at the cost of their own lives. But there's still just not enough actual units, detection or not. Oh, Storm! Storm! No, he gets taken out. That would have been a beautiful Storm.
Yeah, Binary Second not letting go of this contain, but manages to take that top left base, double gas on the way. Although plenty are already available, so Binary Second just really wants to put
There
in.
it is.
Now, there's finally a bit of that punish to how grouped up those lurkers were. Giant Storm goes down. All of those things pretty weak now. More mutas are on the way, so looking like maybe leaning into this muta switch a little bit more heavily here. But Ilchronic is running very low on minerals. The natural and the main both mined out. Everything's committed on this 9 o'clock base, and Binary Second now just means they're containing against all the production and just adding to the army.
Yeah, did you see a bunch more DTs got made again because he took out that one Overlord, but Binary Second very smartly took more. So not going to be able to do with the DTs today. I love that Binary Second's not overextending. He knows that as long as Protoss doesn't get another base, it doesn't really matter. He can just keep them in here forever.
I think Binary Second's low-key getting some tips on how to play his matchup from Sniper. It's just like, I don't have to win the game. Like, I could just kind of make sure I'm in a good spot, keep hanging out. Now look at these mutas moving.
Right.
Yeah, look at these mutas moving across the
left
left side.
There's no cannons in the mineral line. What a move. I think, although they're not
what are they doing? Like, they weren't even attacking.
Hold position when something's attacking you out of range, they want to attack that thing, so they just sit there. That's what I'm figuring out, and now the pro's getting wiped. Protoss can't get here to reinforce. One last charge, trying to get through, but it's suicide. GG.
But that was looking pretty good for Protoss there, but Binary Second had enough money, hung out for a long enough period of time, and managed to establish. And No Chronic just took so much damage from those lurkers, learning the lesson I've learned all too well too many times: get detection before it's too late. Unfortunate.
Yeah, you absolutely need that road by 9 minutes.
Well, we're going into one last game. We're at the end of the road, but that's not the end of CPL casting. We have more games tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. It's going to be, again, the highlights from week 2, but it's going to be the tier 1, tier 0, higher level play. It's going to be all the people that were doing well in their group, so you're going to see like kind of the best of the best. Probably people playing in week 1 that are excited to get things moving. So make sure you check it out. It's going to be a great time.
Alright, let's jump into that last game then.
Yeah, we're getting right into
Just so
this.
we can bring that awesome cast tomorrow closer.
Well, I don't think it moves time faster, but you know what? I like the attitude.
In the top right, in the olive, it's AKE3. The bottom right and left, I said bottom right. In the red, it's I don't want to try. I don't want to try Saetzero. You want to try?
Oh no, I fumbled it earlier. I'm going. So it's so. Yeah, it's like that IUX is like a yeah or something like that. So I'm gonna
say Kaju.
Yeah, we can go with that.
Nice.
Or we can say Caddy. You cute nickname, Caddy. You go with Caddy.
Oh yeah, alright, let's go with Caddy.
There we go. So TVP to close it off, and I know this is one of my boys, AKE3. He's on my team. He's like old drag fam, so it's someone I've known for CPL for quite some time. And he's actually helping out with some of the team admin duties on my team too. So just being helpful across the board.
Okay, we have a pylon in the main, so no forward gateway shenanigans this time, or perhaps forges. I'm kind of sad we don't get to see the cannon rush against Terran. I want to see it. You know.
Oh, it's terrible.
The one strats are the best. Yeah, it's TVP. Yeah.
Well, no, it's terrible though. I was gonna say like.
Oh, it's terrible.
Cannon rushing Terran is awful.
It is, but I still want to see it. Look, I want to see a nuke, so I want to see all terrible stuff.
I think you gotta go back in the vault, watch some of the old Kespa players that do the wacky stuff. Like,
on those stupid maps, yeah.
well, no, not even like the really like not even that level of old and stupid. Like I'm not saying like Boxer era, but like there's that whole like era player where you had like people like Lomo and Up Magic and like these weird Terran players are just like, you know what, playing standards for dorks. I'm not about that life.
Speaking of, we have a Nexus first coming up, and I like it. Long rush distance, going to be pretty tough to punish with Marine and Vulture, I think. We'll see. See what Terran opts to do. You don't have to try and punish it. You can just try and take your own third with mines. Drop is also an option, but I think it's a bit more unreliable. It's probably going to come across.
And I think if you just maybe get some mines, get some map control early on, make sure the CC isn't delayed too far. Now we do see the scout moving across. It's gonna see Nexus first. Now when you see this, you don't have the opportunity to go CC first. You already made your choice. What build do you go for to try to catch up, or do you plan for a push to punish it?
What I do, I always go for the push as long as it's close positions, and I guess in Eclipse it's always somewhere between close and cross positions. You just pretend everything's normal, you start your factory, but then you cut gas, make Marines non-stop, and you go across the map with 3 Marines, 6 SCVs, and rally Vultures.
Oh, you bring some of the boys. Like you really go in.
Yeah, you gotta bring the boys. Gotta bring the boys. Speaking of the boys, that SCV, go out for blood. Okay, doesn't quite get it. Oh, and his pro buddies are gonna gang up on him. Boom, there he goes.
Oh, that's actually kind of big, though, killing that scout so early on. Because, I mean, Dragoons are a little bit of a ways off here. So a decent kill here from the Protoss player. Going to manage to deny scouting for a bit. Won't know if there's more gateways going on.
Coming up, by the way. Now, I don't really like it against Next First, but is the greedy version of Next First with the gas. Because, like, normally you get 2 gates instead and then get your gas. And it just makes the Zealots defend. Which is a lot better against the Marine Vulture type push, but against 2-fac I'm not so sure how this works out.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually
the Protoss should defend this.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually I thought a 2-fac against Nexus first. If you get the gateways on fast enough, you can get the unit production you need to slow things down and survive long enough till you get the production needed to survive. You might like take some damage, but you shouldn't ever like lose the Nexus. So I'm not really sure about this, but this might that might be assuming like everyone handles their things and puts the units in the good positions. Anything could happen in CPL sometimes.
Well, I mean that goes both ways, right? If Terran just overextends their tanks or whatever.
Absolutely.
But it does depend, of course, what transition Protoss is going up from here. He lost his probe fairly early, so he has no idea this is going to be a one-base play. Oh, well, he did get a second gate before Robo, which I think is definitely beneficial against this. So yeah, it does depend, because Protoss obviously from Nexus First could do anything. They could be going greedy or taking or whatever.
Yeah, he actually cut probes a little bit.
I still like it for Protoss, sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say the Protoss even cut probes a little tiny bit to get that second gate a little bit faster, trying to catch up a little bit for going for that faster cyber core maybe. Zealot getting in here, sees a couple Marines trying to poke out with a Vulture, and when you
micro there, he pulled that back at the last second because that Marine, you know, that Zealot had his number, but he pulled back just in time to live.
Yeah, but still, that was a like that's a little cautious, right? You see some Marines and Vultures up in front, no buildings, no bunker, don't see a CC or anything. I think you would be thinking there's a push probably coming. You know your opponent did scout your Nexus first.
Yeah, although you don't know if it's going to be a push or necessarily that mines I was talking about, and that Zealot I don't think got the info because he didn't see the CC or lack thereof.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it actually got far enough. It was like right on that borderline, I think. I didn't know how far it actually got, but still, seeing the lack of no, I'll take your word for it for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, Keju is still in a pretty defensive posture here. Still looking alright. The problem is no Robo has started though. So if Terran gets close enough, lays some mines, and then follows up the C2, which he's doing, he can actually inch his way in here and end this. He's not moving across the map. Oh, damn it, cast a curse.
Yeah, I was
moving across the map.
I was even gonna say like, oh, he's pulling the boys, he's getting ready for the push, just like you were talking about. You're like, he's not moving across the map.
I should have been like, he's not moving across the map as early as I thought he should, or something like that.
There you go, man. Audible in. Like that's how you fix these things. Now all these Dragoons back at home, and with the Terran scene about to finish, these Dragoons hanging out in a pylon wall. If these tanks get set up and have some SCVs to help repair them, this might be really hard to break out of as Protoss, doing more damage than it really should have.
Yeah, well, okay. Tanks getting set up. The Goon's forced to retreat, unfortunately. The siege already done. This choke is actually a downside. Normally against 2-pack it's useful, but if Terran comes with siege, he's trying to build that depot to fluff them in, and it's working. Yeah. Oh, high ground Goons though. Oh, they're going to get that tank. That's pretty huge. That's a great move.
Yeah, that left
Wow.
tank way too far over. The idea to split them up makes a lot of sense, but unfortunately that wasn't a move. Look how this depot so far forward going to make sure things can get sieged
I
down. And
mean, it's actually kind of worth, but he needs to put that tank into the Nexus. That's the only way here. There's, oh, don't siege on the left again. Okay, he's going to move this one up. I like it. There's no way for Protoss to get in here as long as there's enough mines laid down, right? Because he just has no robo. Like, what's he going to do about it? He's getting a Citadel. You can make DTs, but how are you going to get them through a minefield? Honestly, maybe Terran isn't laying enough mines there, given how many vultures you have. Wow, this depot is just so next level, though, isn't it?
I mean, it's doing great work, really slowing things down. And even the vulture's going to manage to clog things up. So it's not gonna be hard to try to like run past and really trigger anything. You've seen lots of damage going down. That siege mode getting some things, forcing the mining off this natural. AKE3 looking like they're in a great spot, getting some good pressure. But back at home, they're not developing that next step. No CC started. Money starting to bank up here. I like the pressure, but I don't like the follow through.
Well, I think Terran can still win this way eventually.
God damn it, the moment I said it, again, look at that CC, now it's there, the moment I said it.
Yeah, so the thing about this kind of scenario is, assuming he does get this Nexus, which I'm pretty sure he will, if Terran doesn't expand right away, as long as they maintain this contain, that's fine. Oh god, the mines, oh god! Okay, that could have been worse, but it could have been better. As long as Terran maintains the position, as long as they eventually expand, it's fine. But I'm a bit worried that he's, oh, that depot though, okay, this is getting...
No, Jesus. Yeah, all these buildings, not even get completed, so they can get canceled at will. I love the decision making for some of the stuff here. Now, actually, with all those pylons that are at a wall going down, look at the supply block Caddy's in. It's actually really significant. Won't be able to build units, and working towards this robotics facility. Finally, some pylons getting finished.
He's going to do DT drop, I think, and that makes sense. That's actually a good way to get out of this hell with the final section. Terran trying to go up the ramp, but that's usually not recommended. Never go up the ramp.
Yeah, so if you're going to DT drop, you see the turrets covering these tanks, I don't think you could do it there. So this might just be an opportunity for some counterattack damage. Back at home, no turrets made, no comsat. I don't even think there's an academy. So this is gonna, it has the opportunity to do very big damage here if they don't die first. And if you keep poking up the base...
Storm too. Is he going to do the combined Storm drop DT? That sounds fucking amazing.
I would love to see something like that. That sounds completely great.
You know, Terran does have this kind of dilemma in this situation where it's like, do I commit 100% to the contain so that if he tries to bust, he gets smashed, or do I leave stuff at home for a reasonable DT drop or something like that? Because if you make the wrong decision and like you have some units at home, maybe they can bust, or if you have everything at the contain and they drop, you can actually suffer a lot here. Okay, actually picking off those mines, I love it. That's definitely something you want to do here. I would like more mines in the ramp area though, since he's making this like nice path for Protoss. Oh wow, again, not finishing the depot though, so next level. He could cram a lot more mines in there though.
I do like the decision back at home though. Getting the academy, he's going to have comsat in time if they keep building towards that. Also getting an armory, so not fully committed to containing this and ending the game off this, just setting himself up in a good position. Saturating that natural. You can see that worker lead that we have for AK, very significant. But here comes that shuttle moving across the map now. It's got two KP boys. It's got one guy that's going to cast some storms as well. The academy's finished, and there's no... I'm going to see if there's an immediate rush to get that comsat going after this next SCV is finished.
Yeah, I assume,
No. Yes. Yes, he hit SCV, he canceled it. He's going to get that comsat. I think it might be done
but
just
what
in
units
time.
Does he have here? He has nothing. He's rallying everything.
He's
I mean,
got...
This contain does look unbreakable, but at the same time... Oh, here they go.
Even dropped that division, doesn't see the shuttle.
Splitting them up, look at this.
Very
Sending one to each mineral line. I'm not sure where he's going to storm and all this. He's already running. Oh, he's going to concentrate them in the natural. Oh my god, this could be the greatest storm ever. Wait, where are they going? Oh, dude, he's going to expand to Protoss natural?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, look at that storm. Look at the storm in the natural. Do it. Oh, not. It could have been way better, but still. The opportunity is great. Scans being used. They see the DT, but there's no fighting units to stop them.
Take some time killing that, yeah. Yeah, Vulture's trying to go up the ramp, but they're not having much luck, and nor would you expect them to. Oh god, Terran has a couple units here, but he's struggling. Both the comsats have been killed. Trying to make turrets. Oh god, this is just Terran nightmare right now. The SCVs has arrived at the Protoss Natural long distance mine. Hopefully by the time they return home, there's
by the time they get home, this is the longest distance mining. This is out of control long distance mining.
Maybe what happened is like, you know, oh that turret got finished, but the DT picked it off just before the tanks could deal with it. Oh, so unlucky.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, so many
he's-
kills in the GTs. 8 on one, 5 on the other, and there's still a Templar lurking in the shuttle, just waiting for his moment.
Yeah, there should be enough energy for Storm very soon. Hopefully,
He's
getting
already
together.
had 2 storms before, so he's just biding his time, waiting for the right moment. Oh, the turret is finished though. Could this be it? Oh, takes out a tank though. That DT's still alive.
Oh, the turret doesn't get the right side of the CC. The detection range just a little bit too far, so still managed to find some opportunities to get some damage done. This worker lead that AK had still a little bit here, but losing a lot of damage. Needs to get something moving here. And Comsat rebuild back into main. There's one scan ready to go. He's got to make sure he does not miss. And you can see this DT still moving around, being annoying, trying to get as much value done as absolutely possible. But this contains for AK still very strong. It's keeping Caddy back at home. You can see they're building up army, but this is just a wild game so far.
I think this DT will finally get taken out though. Is one scan long enough for that? Turns out it is. Okay, so finally things have calmed down. You know what I think happened to those SCVs? Oh wait, hold that thought. Protoss trying to come down the ramp here, although I don't know. This looks pretty hairy for Protoss. Oh, he's dropping with a shuttle at the same time. Though great storm. I mean, when you can storm single tanks, that's what you got to do. Oh, the shuttle stuff getting taken out by a mine, but he gets the storm down beforehand. Oh, trying to get out of here. He's doing so well, but it's just such insurmountable odds. Great storm. Oh my god, is he going to break out of this contain? Oh my god, that turret actually blocks Goons. That's kind of funny.
I mean, there's still an opportunity to go through this. All these storms are really the difference maker breaking out of this contain here, because this network as depot is adding so much walk time.
Network is the right word.
Yeah, that was a
that was such a good executed bust by Caddy. That was actually amazing.
All right, so we have a real problem though. That's like we had this giant contain. It's getting cleaned up. Caddy's back on the map with a bank and with a lot more army than AK. You look at how many SCVs got killed from the DTs earlier, and back at his base has not been macroing very effectively because there just isn't money. All that mining got shut down for so long. If you look around, it's like what? There's a couple tanks having to build some more turrets to make sure things stay alive. And you can just look at the situation. It's not looking great for AK as Caddy moves on top of the map with enough goons that are really threatening and managing to reestablish that natural expansion.
But he has absolutely no observer. So, I don't know. These 3 mines, they're looking pretty good right now. You know, who would win? A Protoss army of, like, veterans who died and were brought back as killer robots? Or, like, a few submerged explosive boys?
Or one martyr that walks forward and tanks the hit for the team, but only gets one tank at the top. It didn't move far enough to trigger a whole bunch of them. Unfortunately, now we're seeing a little bit more movement.
DT, but there's turrets here, so go ahead and just retreats anyway.
I mean, this mine's getting taken out. You can see the pressure. Caddy wanting to try and disarm them, not waiting for observers. But you can see more buildings being made to slow things down. There's enough tanks here, including the one on the high ground, that's going to make it really hard to kind of break through this. We saw this in the games before. So, like, going to situations like, oh, I think I could break this, and throwing your entire army away because siege tanks behind buildings are apparently ridiculous.
Yeah, I think this is definitely enough that Protoss doesn't really want to try. With speeds out, sure, but, like, with just goons, no way. But, you know, Protoss finally getting out here. Gonna take a third in a minute, I think, so he's trying to claw his way back. Terran does have upgrades coming. Probably help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking the move we see here. Another shuttle up at the top side. Bringing a goon along for a ride in a couple storms. So the detection won't matter this time. If you could just get that storm off and really do some more economic damage.
Those turrets are well positioned, actually. The shuttle needs to be careful. It's going to get taken out. Okay, it does drop one Templar. But, you know, nice SCV pull. I think AK3 really stopped that in its tracks. Well, nice storm on those Goliaths, though. No, it takes out one. Yeah, that was a great defense.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised when we looked at how much damage from that DT was done. The AK was down a significant amount of workers and already back up a lot. It's like Caddy's so focused on making this army, trying to get this attack going, that they have not been building workers at all. And you can see in the production queue, they still are not. Maybe not realizing how low they are because they lost that Nexus.
Well, you know, when you're in that kind of situation where DTs kill everything, you will not forget to make SUVs when that happens because you're like, oh, I have none. So it kind of flips it around, makes it easier for a movement. But yeah, I am kind of liking Terran's position more and more, but the army for Protoss is still superior. That's the thing. Terran's not going to be able to move out anytime soon, but 2-base carrying is still definitely an option. Protoss did not opt for that third Nexus after all. So I feel like if Protoss, if Terran sits back, gets his upgrades, and just like powers up a bit before taking his third, he'll be in a decent position here.
I
Reaver coming along, no shuttle to help it out. Wow, it's come a long way. I missed that Reaver's story. He had a pretty long...
Oh, he walked the whole way there. I saw the Reaver get finished a while ago. I'm like, huh, there's no shuttle, though. And I thought it was there for defense. You know, I walked across the entire map of Eclipse. That guy is a trooper.
Yeah. Well, I hope he gets a shuttle soon, though. It's pretty helpless against the Terran army otherwise. You know what happens. They get hit once by a tank shot and start inching towards the tank. Like, oh, I can get you. You just wait till I'm over there, and then boom, they're dead. Okay, third Nexus going down at the same time as third CC.
Yeah, this game, like, we're getting back to a little bit of normal spot. A crazy opener, but if you actually look at where we're at now, it's kind of looking very familiar. Like, the Protoss a little bit up on the Army. Unfortunately, still pretty significantly down on the workers, but the tech moving up for both players. A little bit of a Protoss contain as the Army's in a good position on the map. So it was a weird path to get here, but we're right back on track. And
yeah, so the thing is, Protoss has not been making probes, but Terran has. Oh, the storm. Nice, that's a great storm. Oh, and does he double it? Oh, he did. He took out both tanks. Really nice storms from Caddy this whole game. Looks like he wants to try and bust now. I'm still not sure he can. I mean, there's not that many tanks here, but it is a pretty decent setup for Terran. Not many mines either.
there's still
Is
that
this enough for Protoss?
I think there might be enough, but it's still very dangerous with how far back those tanks are, and you don't really know until you're already committed very hard and taking a lot of damage. So area on the side of safety, doesn't want to go too far forward. Now you see that both sides losing, again, a decent amount of the Army, but this does just buy time for the Protoss. That Nexus finally finished. Hopefully get some worker production back in line, though, because having 3 bases is nice, but you need the workers to actually mine from them.
Absolutely. I mean, we see sporadic production from Protoss, so keeping them in the game at least, but it is troublesome. Terran ending up a bunch more factories. I think probably we'll be able to secure this third sooner or later, because there's only goons we see down here right now. No speed zealots. I guess that's the thing, we have a low probe count, you know, with the minimal gas balance, it's a lot harder to get huge groups of zealots out.
Yeah, are you expecting some kind of push out from AK soon? He's been kind of being defensive, gearing up a little bit, adding on so many factories, and has the +1 weapons, but no starport even started, so far away from the science facility to keep moving up the tech tree. It feels like they're gearing up for an attack.
Well, if you handed this game to me, and I had my packs too, I guess, and you the 3 bases, I would not push. Like, I think the best play here is you just slowly take your third and just chill, get your upgrades. Because if Protoss is on the same bases as you, it's like, where's their money going? Like, you know, they're probably building lots of gateway units, so you don't want to push across the map. But maybe that is what he's thinking here. But he has a third CTC to land, so presumably that's his priority more than pushing across and killing Protoss.
I see a little bit of an attempt to push out here, bleeding out slowly, trying to get control outside this natural that has more opportunity. Vulture's trying to...
Placement.
Yeah, Vulture's laying down a little bit of mines, but sees how many Dragoons are here and how well spaced out they are. I would definitely be reconsidering my attempt to break out right now if I was a Terra player.
This Reaver really just needs a shuttle to help him out. I mean, he's been here the whole time just waiting for his lift. Oh, poor guy.
I mean, he's just there for moral spirit. Like, he is the Ultra Dragoon. The shots do more damage. He moves even worse. Like, he's just like the team leader. Like, he's just there for inspirational value and occasionally.
Overweight and can't actually keep up with the lads.
Yeah, but he's strong. He's so strong though. And actually, you sense
it's all muscle, is it?
Yeah, it's mostly muscle.
I think that was unintentional by Protoss. So, Terran being very slow and cautious. I think that's what he should be doing. Okay, the Reaver's coming. Here he goes. It's that one with Vulture. All Protoss army coming in. It's the storms I'm really looking for, though. Who cares about Scarabs? Oh, it's the storm. There it is.
Ooh.
Oh, tanks.
Fantastic storm up the front. This does big damage. And you see Caddy resetting some of the army again, but loses more at the front. And again, with stuff back in the back here, back on the high ground and behind these walls, it feels uncomfortable moving forward. But a couple of Vultures snuck out across the bottom of the map. There might be an opportunity to get some counterattack damage.
This just showed how strong Storm is in these smaller engagements. When Terran's trying to push out onto base, it's really, really useful to stop them with. And he's been casting them really well. I'm very impressed by the Storm so far. That Reaver, I mean, he got a couple more kills there. I guess he's not useless after all.
Well, we do see back at home, Protoss kept moving up the tech tree. Arbiters are on the way. Research and recall first, which you don't need to research recall first. You won't have the energy time. You should always do stasis first.
How did he get in here? What the?
It's in here. It's scouting everything.
Oh, it's in, and it's gonna kill. can't keep a good vulture down.
this
Wow,
this is
official
comical.
already. Wow.
Hearing a bunch of scans from AK. He wants to see what's up with his opponent, what bases have been
Checking the
taken.
bases,
Yeah, and he's going to see it's only been 3. The situation not nearly as bad as it is. And AK's work count very healthy. It feels like the CC's been done for ages with just no opportunity to get over to that 12 o'clock base. A little bit more of a move out. The moment I say that there hasn't been an opportunity, AK's going to force one to happen.
He heard you. He's like, oh yes, I should land that. So the tank's doing good damage so far. There's another Templar here. It's always those Templars. Here it goes. Oh, it's going in deep. No, it was too ambitious. It got killed before it stormed, and suddenly all these goons melting. No Zealots back them up. There's a good storm, but it's not enough. I think Tyrion will be able to secure this third now. That Reaver's still alive. I guess I shouldn't have dissed that Reaver.
Yeah, look. See, I told you, strong. It's all muscle. That's what it was.
He kills a mine and is his last action. Wow.
But all the units up at the front getting killed. AK's on the map. He has the opportunity to take the base, but look at the army. He says, screw that. I just killed everything. Time to move forward.
Well, I think it might be an error, though, not to take the third base as well. Okay, he does land it. Well, he will be landing it. And yeah, I mean, Protoss doesn't have that much left. The Arbiter, is the Arbiter out? Did it get started? I thought there was one. Where'd it go?
It did get started, yes. I don't know where it is, though. You are right.
Oh, in the third. It's in the third.
It's protecting those probes. Like, it's doing a great
right.
job.
I mean, if a Vulture drops, they'll be real sad, right? In fact, look at the wall at the third. A Vulture could run in there, but that's just a bait because the Arbiter's waiting. Okay, going to take out all these Zealots and Goons easily, and Protoss really doesn't have that much right now. Where are the Templars now when you need them? Terra just moving forward on Siege, and they look irresistible right now. So much coming through, +1 upgrade. Uh-oh, Protoss forced to retreat. May have to retreat up the ramp once again. Arbiter's coming in, and there's no vessel, so you can potentially abuse detection here, but how many scans does Terran have? Looks like enough. Probes coming out to fight too. That's how you know it's not going too well for Protoss.
The Arbiter's also short of 100. And I don't know if Stasis actually got research. I know Yeah, so unfortunate.
Nice micro too. Wow, melts everything. What does Protoss have left? Wow, is he actually going to come across and do this? Already transferred SPs to the third. Really nicely done there. And this looks pretty dangerous for Protoss. Just producing out of these like 6-7 gates. I don't know if it's enough. More reinforcements being rallied too. And AK looking so strong right now.
Yeah, this is just a strong.
It's just like, I wish I had Stasis right now.
I mean, it's slowly chipping at stuff. It's gonna eventually get a second kill.
It's only a matter of time. It will take out this army eventually. That Goon doing its best too. But yeah, there's no time. The Vulture's just come up here. He's gonna kill like every gateway before this Arbiter kills every tank, right? GG, that's it. Wow, what a comeback from AK.
Yeah, what a wild game too. A great one. Yeah, a great one to end the night on. Actually.
That was an amazing breakout from Caddy. I don't think I've ever seen the breakout executed better than that, to be honest, because it looked insurmountable. Like the setup Terran had there looked just like Protoss hell, but he pulled it off with some great storms.
Yeah, definitely a good game that we saw from these players. Actually, a lot of good games we saw all night. Now, that's going to wrap up our highlights. The end of the preseason casting that we're going to be doing for the lower tier stuff, the tier 3 to tier 2. If you swing by tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, same start time we did tonight, tier 1, tier 0. We're going to be doing those high-end games. The people that did well in their groups that we didn't cast, there's going to be a lot of great games. The end of the preseason, everyone can start getting real hype as we're going to gear up for week 1. That will be starting cast next week. You should be practicing now, helping your team practice if you're not in the lineup, working with the coaches, and start really getting to the swing of the regular season. Want to thank Mr. Neblime for joining me tonight.
No worries, thanks for having me.
I want to also thank StromCon, despite their very clear Zerg bias and bullying us over the internet before, but joining us, that was a great time. If you joined in late, StromCon was casting some of the Zerg games earlier on. That is the special guest. It was fun. But that's going to be it for tonight. Be here tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern. More games. They're going to be great. Yep. Everyone, you have a good night.